neighborhood is, yeah, that probably won't happen here. But I feel for the people who experience that.
Do you?
Yeah, I feel for the immigrants as well as the people that are burdened by, the incoming traffic.
Why do you feel bad for the immigrants?
They dealing with a lot. They dealing with a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what it is to be homeless. I've been homeless before, so
So you sympathetic,
I wouldn't say sympathetic. I
empathetic.
wouldn't say sympathetic. I would say empathetic. Yeah, in the situation I was in, I took sympathy as sort of an insult. You know what I'm saying? So I would, I think as adults, you prefer empathy than sympathy.
Mm. Mm.
I think sympathy is non-progressive.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Well, they coming. They coming to every major city this weekend, June 14th. Everybody, brace yourselves.
Will you stop it?
It's true.
You're not coming to everybody's city, bro. I'm
They are
telling you,
coming to everybody's city.
they are not coming to
They've
everybody's city.
already deployed to Austin, Texas, and Dallas,
Stop
Texas.
saying deployed. Listen,
That's what
y'all
they
know
are.
listen, HJ is listen. I personally now I have never been media trained. So in that pocket, in that space, I'm very green and uneducated. But with my uneducated opinion, HJ is the best that I personally know. Period. He is the closest thing to the GOAT if there ever was one that I know when it comes to media. Right? So when he chooses to say deployed, I know that he knows there's
That's
a
what.
difference between a visit and a deployment or an incursion. Like that is crazy.
That's exactly what it is. It is a deployment and an incursion. We don't know if these are coming from the pockets of George Soros or somebody else, but protesters are being paid to show up in major cities across the United States, and they are planning a nationwide protest this Saturday, June
Yeah,
14th.
yeah. Detroit is a little different though.
Is it?
And I'm outside Detroit, and it ain't even that. This Detroit is a little different. Detroit
Okay.
is a little different. Detroit is a little different. It's a little different. It's a little different.
All right.
Because it's like no matter what level of crisis you're personally experiencing, you always have to keep in mind that your situation could get worse.
Right. We
And
saw that during the COVID.
usually, if you should happen to show up in Detroit in the spirit of devilishment, your situation probably would get worse like really fast in Detroit. Like it'd get worse really, really quickly in Detroit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. All
So
right.
I don't think that it's going to be. And if it is, it's probably going to be some small thing where people just hop out the bus, you know, make a little bit of noise on one corner, get some cameras to cover it, make it seem like it's happening a lot of places. Like it's not going to be that's not going to happen too much out here.
All right. We'll see. Only time will tell. Only
I don't know.
time will tell.
Trust me, there's a lot more going on in Detroit that will tell.
Did,
This
I
this will
know
be the
y'all.
last place those folks pop off the bus at if they pop off the bus acting crazy in Detroit. This will be their last stop on the bus. This everybody will have to send donations to Detroit to get folks out of prison because it's not going to go well in Detroit.
Yeah, I know y'all having a migrant crisis out there too.
Yeah, it's not riot though. It's not that
Shout out to Justin. Shout out to Jay Brown.
because it's a love city and it's a working city. So if you come here and you trying to work and it don't matter who, I'm technically an immigrant to the city. You know what I'm saying? Like if you come here with, you want to work and you trying to, the city would probably just embrace you or overlook you, one of the two. But if you come here
What's
out
your
of pocket, you're gonna be eight ball in the corner pocket quickly.
What's your lineage? Are you 100% from this land? Are your parents from another country? Are they from Africa, Jamaica, Venezuela? What's your lineage?
My mom is When you say from this land, what is that? What is that
The
actually?
United States of America, were they born and raised here or were they immigrants?
Oh, okay. So you talking about recent history.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So my dad's side is Haitian.
So
And
he was born and raised there?
yeah, my dad's side is Haitian. Then my mom's side is American.
Oh, damn. So the FBI is going to be on your ass. The Foundational Black Investigation Unit. You know the Foundational Blacks?
No, I do not know them. I've never heard of them. I don't know who Tariq Nasheed is or any of that. No comment.
See, you're not rocking with that. All right, that's good to hear. Good
I'm
to
not
hear.
for or against. I'm not going on the record.
I'm going on the record saying I'm against it. I'm going on the record. Fuck that. I'm against it.
Well, by proxy, I'm in the army of Hotep Jesus, so.
If we go to war, you gotta be ready to put on your boots.
James did. Well, they at the front door. At the front door.
Oh man, so we got a nice episode lined up for y'all tonight. What exactly, did you have planned for us tonight? I know you had a bit of urgency to have this
Black
broadcast.
folks upside the head with this.
Is that Kemedicine?
That is the one and only. But no, that's not.
Make sure y'all go get that Kemedicine book right now on Amazon. Go get that Kemedicine book right now. This is the textbook for all Kemedicine classrooms. Open your book up to page 32. Get your notebooks and pens out. Kemedicine, hold it up on the screen, please.
Open it up to page 32.
Now hold the cover up real fast. Everybody knows that they got to get their textbook. There it is.
I thought you was getting ready to start a sermon. I'm like, about to start a sermon.
Thank you.
About to hit us with the Hebrew Israelite. Read.
Sleepy City Gang has Friday. That's what's up.
No, with me, it's always a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Always a lot going on. So I did a live, and I got a lot of feedback from the live. And the feedback that I got from the live was kind of surprising.
Okay.
Feedback was surprising because, I was talking about something that had kind of talked about at least 17,897 times already. So, yeah, so the feedback was, it was kind of shocking, right? And I dug a little bit more into it, and I realized after 20 plus years of doing this, folks are finally like stirring. I'm not going to say waking up. I'm not going to say that they're finally opening their eyes, but I'm going to say folks are finally like, they just like, look like, what? Folks looking around, like they looking around right now. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute now.
A little triggered?
I ain't going to say triggered. I'm just saying they folks are beginning to become consciously critical.
Okay.
Consciously critical. And when I say consciously critical, we've always had people that were just suspicious, just to be suspicious. Like people who were conspiracy theorists just for the sake of being a conspiracy theorist.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would say, for instance, I give you an example. Guy drinking 50-cent can of beer, right? The lowest quality beer that there is. It doesn't even really qualify as beer to beer drinkers, right? The beer drinkers would be insulted if you call 50-cent beer actual, like, that's not beer. That's malt liquor. That's that's prepackaged urine. That's not. So conspiracy theorists drinking a 50-cent beer chain smoking Newports.
Mm.
Chain smoking Newports.
Damn. One and two is all right. Chain smoking is wild.
No, chains though, one or two back to back, two or three back to back to back. Chain smoking Newports with cheap beers.
Mm. It's not a
Right?
good look.
Burger in the plastic wrapping,
Mm.
half eaten, because that's the seventh or eighth, that's the sixth burger, so it's half eaten. He couldn't finish it. He ate to oblivion. And then maybe on Blog Talk Radio. We got to go. I've been doing this a long time. We got to go
Damn.
Blog Talk.
Damn,
Maybe on
Blog Talk Radio. Man, I remember that.
Listen, I'm the guy that ushered in the new paradigm. There was a lot of guys that look like that, but you on Blog Talk.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has to see you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they like, yeah, and this health thing and whoop, 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 and I'm selling the detox and chakra this and chakra that, and I got this herbal cleanse and it's going to get you to lose weight in 2 weeks and blah, 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 6-pack in a month and boo, 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 boo. And yeah, the hospital's this and the hospital's so. We've always had people that were conspiracy theorists just for the sake of being conspiracy theorists. Like there's been nothing credible behind it. There's been nothing, like Billy Carson's. That's why he has such a large audience. Him and Terrence Howard, just gobbledygook. But people, they missed the gobbledygook, since the passing of Captain Gobbledygook, Jordan Maxwell, there's been a hole in the community where people have been missing, Bobby vanished, Jordan passed, this gobbledygook is missing. So, this. But as of lately, people have been noticing strange phenomena.
Okay.
And the strange phenomena is steering. Right? So now it makes some of the wild and crazy things that I may propose seem more inviting. Right? So now we have RFK in office, for instance, right?
Right.
So RFK gets on the big stage, on the biggest stages of the world that there is.
Mm-hmm.
And he highlights the most important couple of sentences that has been said, as far as I'm concerned, by any politician or person in public office in my life. Americans spend the most money on supplements, on medication, on holistic care, on surgery, on every form of health care you can think of. We spend the most money on it, and we are the sickest people on earth.
Damn.
You just gotta let that radiate right there. That's tough. That's so tough to deal with. It's almost like people are wearing a bulletproof vest. Like they that doesn't even permeate. It's hard to even get that to go inside people's eardrums and like shake they pine. Like it's hard to even get that to go inside people's. We spend the most money on every form of healthcare, every form, from protein shakes to herbal supplements to medication to surgery, insurance, health, you name it. And we are the sickest people on earth, statistically.
On the planet.
On the planet. How is that possible?
Well, somebody's not taking the right steps towards good health.
I would say that is absolutely incorrect, brother.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I would say that that's absolutely incorrect. I mean, on the very surface level, it's obviously correct because we're the sickest, right? So it's obviously correct on the surface level, but in terms of what's the root problem, because here's why this is such an important conversation. It's so important that it may even be lackluster because it might go over, around, and beyond people's comprehension. If we're spending the most money on every form, I'm talking about from getting gym memberships to uh treadmills. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
If we're spending the money, that means we're taking steps. That means that we're active. That means that we're getting out after it. We are chasing health.
Okay.
We're chasing health. So that is not the issue. There's more diet foods, vegan foods than there has ever been. There's vegan foods, there's diet foods. You can go to the supermarket now and they actually have packaged paleo foods. And I don't even know how that's possible. Because literally the whole paleo thing is to have the raw meat and the ancestral. So I don't even know how you have packaged, but I guess that's like transition vegan. I guess that's the same thing. Transition vegan, packaged raw food, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we've never had this much health food available.
Okay.
So the problem comes down to uninformed people getting educated by misinformed people.
Okay.
Uninformed getting educated by misinformed people.
Mm-hmm.
And these are your credentialed people.
Mm-hmm.
Your credentialed people are the misinformed people. The establishment is where we can go down conspiracy theory road. We can go the establishment, the institution, academia doesn't know any better, so they're just miseducating, or we can go a sinister route and, but again, I like to just live in the realm of fact, right? So I know there's going to be people in your audience because you have educated people that follow, they watch the platform. So they're going to say, well, how can you say that? First things first is you can't dispute what I'm saying because the numbers don't lie. We spend the most on every form. There's billions, trillions go through this country, and people aren't. It's like all of the people who believe they're getting healthy right now by taking Ozempic because they're losing weight. Like that is the craziest thing on earth right now. That's the same as people who think they're getting healthier because they're on TRT. Like that is we are so far in trouble that it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because we don't understand health means to the ability to function. Health is just function. If you have a healthy heart, that means your heart has the ability to do what a heart does.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. If
Mm-hmm.
you have healthy knees, that means your knees do what knees supposed to do. When your knee stops doing what a knee is supposed to do, then it's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a human whose stomach is supposed to say produce GLP-1,
Mm-hmm.
but that human stomach does not produce GLP-1 or is not producing enough of it. So said human goes to get a prescription so that they can take it. That prescription changes their body on the surface for the better. On the inside, it takes them down to a place where they'll probably never produce GLP-1 again.
Mm.
So now their body does not work. So on the most simplest level, because some part of their digestive system does not work and will not work again, they're not healthy.
Okay.
Healthy would be restoring GLP-1 production,
Right.
not getting you hooked on taking injections for it. Right?
Okay.
So for the educated people watching, I'll give you another a better example. Right? Something that you need to wrestle with, something you need to deal with. You got to come to grips with. See, some of these things are things that's not going to hit people while they're watching the live stream. They're going to have to wrestle with some of this when they get off the live stream. In the last 10 years, We have discovered more types of neurons than we ever knew exist in the previous 100.
Mm-hmm.
No. That's what I'm saying. That's not. That's not.
Well, we talked about that last week. That's why it's an for me.
Yeah, but you got to go. You got to unpack. What about all of the millions of people that have had brain surgery, that have had prescription medicine for different, brain this and brain that, and Alzheimer's and dementia, and yeah, we got to pick that conversation right back up. That can't be a one and off. We have to light fire to that conversation.
Okay.
People have to realize, okay, if we just discover what most of the brain is made out of in the last 10 years, and we just discover the system to maintain the brain, what have we been doing the last 100 years?
Shooting in the dark.
Literally, they just came up with the phrase. Have you ever heard of the phrase evidence-based medicine?
I think so.
Okay, that's a relatively new phrase. They just came up with that like in the late 80s, 90s, something like that.
Right.
Right.
Shouldn't that be a standard?
Medicine. Well, here's the problem with that.
Okay.
Here's where my mind goes immediately. If you just came up with evidence-based medicine 30 years ago, what were you doing
before that?
Boom. What were you doing before evidence-based? What were you doing before that?
I'm guessing.
That's bro. We gotta take these threads and we gotta follow these threads all the way to the end of the road. We gotta take these threads and follow these threads all the way to the end of the road, because somebody's gonna say, yeah, but it's no buts. The number one, number two killer usually is heart disease and brain disease.
Right.
For me, that tells me that we don't understand how the heart or the brain functions.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been saying that for more than 20 years. But I'm beating my chest with it now. Because we just discovered all these neurons and we just discovered the glymphatic system. So those things now prove that what I was saying all this time was 100% all wise, right, and exact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now I have a new book out, a new series of books, And the core concept to this book and series is electrogenesis.
Mm-hmm.
Electrogenesis. And electrogenesis is
creating sparks in the body.
It's another. So I'm known for this type of thing, whether it's horizontal gene transfer or photovoltaism.
Okay.
Right? Because there's a time period in the holistic community where everybody was saying, oh yeah, melanin is human chlorophyll. Yeah, melanin does human photosynthesis. And then I single-handedly had to be the guy to go against the grain. Like, that is incorrect. Whoever's telling you that doesn't know what they're talking about. Stop listening to that person, because that person is only remixing someone else it's the uninformed getting taught by the misinformed. And because they believe Arturo Salas Herrera is credentialed, they're going to repeat what he says and they're going to pop up in the black community because they know we're working with 3rd and 4th grade reading levels, and they're not going to tell you they got that from Arturo Salas Herrera. They're going to pretend like they downloaded it or they got it from the ethers or something. And, oh yeah, look, so iron iron's in the core of the blood, and so the magnesium's in the core of the so yeah, this is the same thing as this, because the only difference is the iron and the magnesium is the same. Nah, bro, that's disrespectful to say to a people dying from diabetes. It's tantamount to insanity, because people don't even fully grasp what I'm saying. It's like, that's insane. You're literally telling people that their skin produces sugar. That when you say melanin does human photosynthesis, what you're saying is that melanin absorbs sunlight and produces sugar. That's crazy. When we dying from diabetes.
Damn.
Like I'm like, yo, how are y'all like, no. And then I'm like, have y'all ever seen Arturo Salas Herrera? Have y'all ever looked at him? Have y'all ever heard him do a lecture? He doesn't even speak in English. He's a Spanish guy that does his lectures in I'm like, yo, y'all don't even know what it's the same thing with with the chakras. I'm like, yo, have y'all read Upanishads? No, y'all just talking stupid out here, looking crazy. Like, stop this madness. So, I've had these uphill battles. Folks were saying, Charles Darwin, blah, 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 and shot this, shot that. I'm like, hey, ho, ho, ho. If you have never heard of the phrase horizontal gene transfer before, you should not be qualified to go on the internet or a live broadcast anywhere and discuss bacteria or viruses of any sort. That should be like standard qualification. That's like if you've never bounced a ball before, you shouldn't even try out for a basketball team. Like, what are you doing here? You got some work to do, champ. You can't just show up here.
Horizontal gene transfer?
Horizontal gene transfer, yeah.
Horizontal gene transfer, HGT.
Yeah.
HGT. Let's take a look at it. According to the Google demons, says here, horizontal.
Like demons.
Yeah. Horizontal gene transfer, HGT, also known as lateral gene transfer, is the movement of genetic material between organisms that are not in a parent-offspring relationship. What does that mean?
That means basically you have two types of gene transfer, right? So you have the gene transfer that goes from parent to child.
Right.
Right? That's considered vertical.
Okay.
Down like multi-level marketing. That's in your downline.
Right.
Right? But horizontal gene transfer speaks more about the environment.
Going raw up in the chick.
No, not going raw up in it. Yeah. So it's about how organisms share genetic material.
Okay.
Right. So if you have a dog in your house, you're sharing genetic material with your dog. If you have a turtle, if you have rodents, and that extends to the greater environment. Right. So this is why usually, like say, for example, when we talk about the flu, right? Usually when you're dealing with the flu, they associate it with an animal. They go, oh, this is avian bird flu.
Right.
So what they're telling you is that this is genetic material from birds that is now going into your cells replicating. When there was swine flu, that means that there was genetic material from pigs that was going into your body and attempting to replicate.
Okay.
So that's like the first part we got to figure out is viruses are just foreign DNA, foreign RNA.
Okay.
Right? So certain things line up once you get the basics. Because people would say, well, why do you recommend people cut down on eating meat to strengthen their immune system? Well, because you have an HLA system. And if you're panicked that foreign genetic material is going to get in your body, like you probably want to not eat animals because, I mean, that's a plate full of foreign genetic material right there.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Yeah, that is a whole plate full of, I'm not saying not to do it forever. I'm not saying go that route. But, for the folks that were panicking, I'm like, okay, well, let's just start with the basics. You do know you have an HLA system whose job it is to determine what's your genetic material from the foreign genetic material, tag it, bag it, get a response team, right? But all of these are phrases that over the years I have introduced to upgrade the consciousness of the people as a whole.
Okay.
And so electrogenesis is 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 a term in that line. It's a term in that line. It's going to start here in Hotepistan, and you can bet, as sure as your name is Hotep Jesus, that term is going to grow legs. Someone somewhere is going to be attempting to flip it and bounce it without saying. And so Dr. Enqi said, they're not going to reference Dr. Enqi. They're going to try to freestyle it.
Act like it was theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the reason why the term is important, the reason why the books are important is because it does represent another paradigm shift.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how I want to approach the subject with your audience, but I guess the best bet is just to rip the Band-Aid off. Right?
Gotta rip the Band-Aid off. It's Hotep, man. These cats is ready.
Okay. So one of the things that I was discussing yesterday, or was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Typically, people that have God conversations, that are interested in God conversations, that get passionate about God conversations, do not have health conversations. And the people who are typically interested and passionate about health conversations are not interested and passionate about God conversations.
Right.
The problem is, in order to really, really, really get to the nitty gritty when it comes to health, we have to have more of a unilateral kind of, we have to look at some, and even if you're an atheist, right? Even if you're an atheist or you're in the middle there, you know, you don't think there's enough evidence to whatever, like, you still have to try your best in your limited capacity to get to the origin so that you understand the blueprint of the body.
Right.
Right? Because if you don't understand the blueprint, it's not possible to have any understanding of health.
Okay.
Okay. So let's deal with a basic concept. Energy.
Energy. The ability to produce work.
Yes, we talked about, okay, but we went there already. So now I want to ask you, like how do we get energy? Like what do we do with calories to get energy?
We burn them.
Right. You see that right there, that right there. That is my target.
Okay.
That is what I'm locked in on.
Burning.
No, that is the problem right there.
Okay. There's no burn.
There's no burn.
No fire, no burning.
There's no fire, no burning.
Okay. Damn. So we're not burning calories.
We do not burn calories.
Damn. Oh, Lord Jesus.
Here we go.
Calories. Here you go the rabbit hole.
We don't burn calories. We don't burn fat. We don't burn sugar. We don't burn. Right? But the thing is, and this is why sometimes we have to have health conversations in order to have a God conversation. And sometimes we have to have a God conversation in order to have a health conversation.
Right. Quantum entanglement.
We have to ask ourselves, where did these ideas come from?
Okay.
And we come to find out that the idea of burning is a religious idea.
Oh, damn. Like you burn incense, you burn sage. Yeah.
No. Take another step. See, you the one told me a few minutes ago we just got to rip the Band-Aid off. So just take another step.
Got to burn the body.
Like you burn in hell.
Ooh, damn. The flames of Satan.
Bro, listen, this has much more deeper implications than people would think. Like we spend the most amount of money. I got to return there because there are parts of this that our feet may leave the ground if we don't ground folks. We spend the most amount of money on all forms of healthcare, and we're the sickest.
Okay.
That means what we think we know, we don't know.
Right.
We just discovered more brain cells, more types of neurons in the last 10 years than the last 100. What we think we know, we do not know.
Mm-hmm.
That means we have to start applying a AMs Razor to a lot of these different philosophies, ideologies, and categories of science here. Some of these things,
Occam's razor.
Occam's Razor. Cam, the 158th Street in the Bronx.
English is not your first language. We understand.
It's
Ebonics is your first language. We know.
It's a lot of self-teaching, a lot of, nah, I mean, it's a lot of that, it's a lot of that, it's a lot of that, but we're going to have to start applying Occam's Razor. See, 158, Razor is in the map, but Occam's Razor. So I respected it when the teacher was like, yeah, we got to apply Occam's Razor. I was like, oh, y'all got razor blades on you? So some things that may sound unfamiliar, that may even sound crazy to us, these may be closer to reality than what we have come to think of as normal. These are religious ideas that have been imposed on the people. And as they were imposed, people created philosophies to fit inside of the establishment so that they could earn money, earn a living, not hang, not get put on, not get burned or put, like science today comes from a dark place. We don't realize that like science of what we think today, like everybody got Google and Chat GPT and, we grabbing books off Amazon and we just moving around like this is not the culture that the seeds, the roots of today's modern science comes from.
Right.
People were getting heads removed if they said anything other than what the church said. Mm-hmm. So science was establishing ideology, and philosophy that ran congruent with the ideas, and I say that respectfully,
okay,
ideas of the church. So this is where we get the concept that our body is a combustion machine.
Mm-hmm.
It burns fuel.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't burn. This is where we get the concept of inflammation. Inflamed.
Right.
Like we don't realize this hell thing is deeper than people want to. It comes from, we're cursed at birth, right? So we need to be saved because we're all cursed. So we're all living in hell until we can, like, this it's a lot to unpack. It's just, so that's why I got to keep bringing folks back to, like, hold on. We're spending a lot of money. Folks got a lot of education, and the healthcare system is failing. We have the most. So obviously, what you think is not correct.
Right.
So you have to start looking in some places for some answers that you may be uncomfortable looking.
Mm-hmm.
And once you go, oh, wait a minute, everybody is cursed from birth. This is accepted fact.
Mm-hmm.
This is accepted fact, even though this is not, well, may or may not be fact. We'll just respectfully, we'll be nice and respectful to everybody. But the accepted ideology, we're all cursed, so we're living in hell until we can get saved.
Mm.
So if you're not saved, and then there are some religions that go a step further, and they go, because we're black,
Ham.
we're cursed.
Mm.
Right? You got Ham's curse.
12 tribes.
12 tribes. You got the Mormon. Right? We got the Mormon who have a whole, they got a whole breakdown, and they walk around proudly in black neighborhoods and knock on folks' doors, say, join the Mormons. Accept the fact that you are cursed since birth, and that's why you got black skin, because you are doomed to be tortured your entire life. And then you go to the doctor, and the doctor tells you something similar. Oh, you black? Oh, yeah. Well, you're going to have high blood pressure, diabetes, and yeah. High blood pressure, diabetes. That's for sure. You're going to definitely have that. Well, how can you be sure? Is it running my family? Yeah. You can say that. Yeah, it's running your family. If you black, it definitely. Well, which genes is that on? Well, we don't really have a gene. We don't, it's not exactly like, we don't actually have like a gene proof, like we don't, we just know it for sure. It's, if you're black, you're definitely gonna, suffer from being inflamed your entire life until you're dead. Wait, hold up. I heard that before. I'm going to be inflamed till death. Huh? That sounds like something I heard with these folks.
It's the God folks.
And then the personal trainers and everybody around you has doubled down on it. You got to burn calories. You got to burn fat. And you got to burn. And I'm like, oh, I get it now. This is a massive conspiracy to cover up ancient Kemet.
Oh, shit.
This is a massive conspiracy. Man, listen. The body is electric. The human body is electric.
Okay.
Now, you can go, okay, yeah, I have pet peeves. Like certain things drives me crazy. And people that go in two directions at the same time, it drives me crazy. It drives like people that say that they're into chakras, but they're also Muslim. I'm like, you cannot be a Muslim and be into chakras. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Now you doing the chakras or you being with Allah? Now you ain't with Allah and chakras. Now what are you? It just drives me crazy. So you got a lot of these Dr. Sebi folks, they, oh yeah, Dr. Sebi, well, that's the black folks. Oh yeah, Dr. Sebi, yeah, body's electric. Then you got all the white folks. Oh yeah, Robert Becker, The Body Electric. That's an amazing book. And I read it 17 times. It's amazing. And then what do? All of them. The Becker followers, the Sebi followers, throw in the new guys, Jack Cruz, Andrew Huberman, what do? Everybody. They all go get a gym membership to burn fat. I said, how you just, I said, now how did you just do that? How did you just say, the body's electric and then you got a gym membership and signed up with a personal trainer with a six-pack to tell you he burning fat, you gonna burn fat, you gonna burn sugar. I said, now how does that work? And then I'm stuck like in the Twilight Zone because I have to communicate to the land. You have to talk to people with what they understand, unless you're just going to struggle and fight with folks. But in order to teach, I got to catch you where you at and try to bring you up. So now I'm forced to. Okay, well, you're going to burn some calories. We're going to burn. So let's get exercise and let's, But I'm tired. I'm tired of that already. Like now, I don't feel like I feel like we already at the last straw. I can't facilitate the lie anymore. I can't facilitate the lie anymore. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm complacent. I feel like I'm a co-defendant. Like I can't do it.
But you can get an electric burn.
You can get an electric burn.
So maybe the
You can get an
electricity is
electric burn.
burning the calories.
Okay, so there's a such as thing as being too intelligent for your own good. No, 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 no. No, listen. You see, here's the thing that happens with addiction. It happens with addiction, it happens with trauma,
Uh-huh.
and it happens with paradigm shifts.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Our mind takes over. It's like the movie Get Out when you're going into the sunken place. Our mind wants to put us into a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will logically explain to ourselves how we are in a, like how, like we'll fix it. Once we see reality is broken, our brain swoops in to try to fix it.
Mm.
And we go, wait a minute, no, this can't be happening. And you go, wait a minute, no, this absolutely can be happening because everywhere, every science book everywhere discusses redox. So because every science book everywhere discusses redox, that means that we're living in some type of Twilight Zone, scary Black Mirror. Like this is wild. The textbook says redox, but the people are going to say burn. Now, the problem is 2 plus 2 equals 4. 2 plus 2 equals 4. If people do not understand how their body works, that creates the uninformed. The uninformed are curious. They want to get informed. So now the uninformed, they just go groping in the dark and they don't know who, they don't know what. So they go and, oh, this guy has credentials. He's credentialed. So now they grab someone or some source or they surfing YouTube or they all over the place or, even to be honest, Google and AI is hurting folks. You have to be intelligent, at least in whatever it is that you have to be able to discern. You have to searches, even if the search gives you a process search, because that's kind of what AI does. AI gives you a process search. It gives you a synthesis to the search, where Google is more of just a flat search, right? You still have to know what you're looking for. And you have to, when you find it, you have to know what's like, if you're a jeweler, you have to know what fake gold looks like after a while. Like you need to, or you're going to get beat. Somebody going to pull up on you with some copper tint, some painted, like that's electro for, like it's not, yeah. You got to know what's what. You have to educate yourself in order to be able to educate yourself. I tell people all the time about getting in shape. Stop watching these guys on YouTube because you're watching steroid bodybuilders thinking you're supposed to follow what they doing.
Right.
John Q. Public has to get in shape enough to be able to start getting in shape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
you
facts.
can't just go to the gym and start busting out X amount of work. Your knees and joints and shoulder, your body ain't ready for that.
Yeah,
You gotta
I had
take
to.
that thing. Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta
before I went
ease
to
it.
I moved to a pro workout, and before I went to the pro workout, I had to do the amateur workout.
Yeah, you got to prepare yourself for that. You have to prepare yourself for that. And so people are not even they're not cognizant enough to even understand when they're getting taught or not.
Mm-hmm.
And we're being crippled because people are not studying. They believe they can go to the cheat code. They can search it, or they can just find the guy with the credential, and it doesn't work that way because he's going to sell instead of teach.
Right.
And so we have the problem where we have the sickest country on earth because nobody knows what their body even is.
Mm.
Nobody even knows what the human body is. If you think that the human body burns, if you think it burns, then you don't even know what it is.
Mm.
If you don't know what it is, you don't know what it does. You can't even fix it. You can't even repair it. How can you repair something? You don't even know the original source. You don't know the original source to put it back to, how you going, you don't know how to do that. Every electronic device has a specific frequency. Like you can't just plug in an American appliance into a European outlet.
No, it don't fit.
Yeah. And it might be a different amount of charge coming through there. It might fry your circuits.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to know what the system, you have to know how a cell works. People think they know how a cell works. People that have big muscles think they know how muscles work.
Mm.
I love to have conversations with them. I don't do it on the internet because it's embarrassing, you know what I'm saying? But I love to have conversations with them in private because they just don't know. Like,
Mm.
okay, so how does a muscle work? And they go right into, oh yeah, well, hypertrophy. And if you do 1 to 3 reps, get into the power, and this many reps, and you get into hypertrophy. If you go 12 or more reps, you get into the endurance. I'm like, okay, well that's how you work out. That's how does the muscle work? That's how does the muscle itself work? Like, talk to me about what's going on inside the muscle itself. Well, you got to have protein. Okay, so a muscle is mostly made out of protein? Yeah, muscle's mostly made out of protein. No, it's mostly not made out of protein. It's not mostly made out of protein. Muscle is mostly made out of water.
Mm.
But if we entertain the idea of protein, what type of protein is muscle made out of? Oh yeah, well, it's the branch chain amino. No, 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 no. Muscle's mostly made out of collagen. Your body's mostly made out of collagen. So you're not even eating the right protein in your drink. Most of these protein shakes, they don't even have collagen. You're not getting hydroxy. I mean, you're getting a little bit of collagen building amino acids, but it's not just geared to that. It's geared towards leucine and, you know,
Mm-hmm.
things that support the mTOR system in the body.
Right.
Right. But what I'm saying is this is why people are sick. We don't even know we don't know what the human body is.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are dark like me and you that wear melanin, they've been calling melanin human chlorophyll for 30 years while dying from diabetes. This is the craziest, most psychopath, most insane thing of all. Like, what? I literally single-handedly am the only person on earth, like when I started anyway, teaching people that melanin is photovoltaic.
Mm-hmm.
Melanin is not photosynthetic, it is photovoltaic. Melanin converts photons into electricity. It produces a voltage.
Mm.
That's what melanin is doing. Yeah, photons to electrons. It's not turning light into carbohydrates. Like, that is insane right there. And if you think that, that's going along with this cursed from birth idea. See, that's we don't get far away from that. Because if we're dying from diabetes, which we are, and the sun is producing the sugar inside our blood that's giving us the diabetes, then the sun is killing us.
So, Dr. Feelsgood said, if our bodies aren't burning calories, what is happening to the fat that gets lost when we lose weight? And the answer to that is redox, which is the addition of electrons.
That is almost not exactly, that's not, yeah. So what happened is when I was speaking about the dangers of Googling right there. So yeah, so redox is a combination of two terms, reduction and oxidation.
Right.
right? So reduction is adding electrons.
Right.
Oxidation, well, so here's the thing. Redox gets tricky. And here's why it gets tricky. Redox is a combination of two words, and each of the two words has two meanings.
Mm.
Yeah, each of the two words has two meanings.
You got
So
reduction
reduction and
and
oxidation.
oxidation.
Correct. So reduction can be one of two things. Reduction can be where you add electrons, or
You take them
it could
away.
be where you remove protons.
Protons. Okay.
On the flip side, the exact opposite, oxidation can be either adding protons
Or taking them away.
or removing electrons.
So creating a proton surplus versus creating an electron surplus.
One or the other.
Okay.
So
when we talk
creating a
about
proton
oxidation, we
surplus-
talking
wait.
about protons. If we talking about reduction, we talking about electrons.
Yes, we're talking about a surplus of electrons with reduction. We're talking about a surplus of protons with oxidation. But now here's the thing. Here's the thing. If inside your body you have a system, right, where something takes electrons away from a thing,
And something else is putting protons in.
and then it adds the electrons back.
Takes them away and brings them right back.
That's a circuit.
Right.
Electricity is flowing. That's a circuit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's simplify it to.
No, we got that. Everybody here is smart.
No. But we're more familiar with the food conversation.
Okay.
The food conversation is acid alkaline.
Right.
Right. And so lots of people was upset with me because I was correcting people where Dr. Sebi was incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
And people, they're blind followers without the study. And so they say, oh, no, acid is bad. Acid, no, acid is no good. No protein, no fatty acids, no acids of any sort is good for the human. I say, whoa. Respectfully, Dr. Sebi might not have known what he was talking about. Respectfully. No, respectfully. Because Dr. Sebi was saying the human body is electric. If the body is electric, then we have to have electric circuitry.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's what acids and alkalines or base does when you put them together. Right. So because our body, literally, because our body is made out of acids, primarily to energize them, you want to have basic or alkaline materials to fuel them, to give them energy. Right? Because the acids are going to pull electrons, and the bases or the alkalines are going to donate the electrons that they want to have. So marriage made in heaven. Right? But we also have to remember that every day we turn over about 50 billion or so, some old crazy amount of cells. So we have to consume acids so that our body has raw material to rebuild the body. Yeah, it's some crazy, insane number, 50 billion, some old wild number of new cells we got to make every single day, right? So we have to have acids, fatty acids, amino acids, etc., to rebuild the structure of the body. So you got two different basic aspects to your nature. You have your physical, tangible you, and then you have the energy that supplies you with the ability to move around. And so you got to eat for both of those things. You've got to eat for the physical, and then you've got to eat for the energetic or the spiritual part, right? The part that we can't see and touch, right? And that's where it gets tricky because we don't understand, right? So to go to who? Phil, what's the brother's name?
Donahue?
No, the brother that asked the question in Patch's name.
Dr. Feels Good.
Dr. Feels Good.
Mm-hmm.
Should I say pause or we don't say pause?
Yeah, it's a little close to a pause moment. Yeah. Shout out Markel. What up, Markel?
I was just on my on one of my bros channels, and he had a dude in the chat. I jumped in the chat just to show some love in the chat, and there was a guy in the chat that was named Chakra King, and I just was like, pause, no diddy. I didn't know if I was like, yeah, let me just I don't know if this is appropriate here. Let me just.
That's nasty
Let me
work.
just. But so his question was, how does our body get rid of fat, right?
Convert fat, calories.
Right. So what we're doing is we're producing. So our body is. So here's another contention that I had with Sebi, but I consider Dr. Sebi a god in the space. You know, I don't get to this level without standing on his shoulders.
Right.
Right. But here's another contention I had with Dr. Sebi. Even with Robert Becker, and it's not even really a contention. It's just the work was incomplete. They put in some pioneering work to figure out that the body was electric. And then I came along to take that work to another level and go, okay, yeah, to an extent, your body is not actually electric though. Your body, it runs on light.
Mm-hmm.
Your body runs on light and sound, not electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the next level to it, right? Because if you think about it, right, we're converting fatty acids and carbohydrates. We're breaking them all the way down, and we're getting subatomic. We break them down to subatomic. We break them down to electrons and protons.
Okay.
That's where the conversation is in the human body: electrons and protons.
Okay.
And we have electrons going like this, and we have protons going like that inside the electron transport chain, right? So the electron transport chain is actually the electron and proton transport chain, because at every cytochrome, you have electrons going this way and protons going that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the protons that come back and make the motor turn of the ATP pump that recycles ATP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's protons going from the inner matrix to the outer matrix that are funneled back into the inner matrix that powers the motor that recycles ATP, right? But the thing is, right, mitochondria, right? And so here's where you have to go with this. We got to go back to the beginning, beginning, right? Single cell organisms on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Mitochondria was a separate organism. Now, mitochondria invaded cells or cells captured mitochondria. However that happened, they created a symbiotic relationship. So it was a marriage and they still married, right? But mitochondria is still its own organism. Even though it's adapted to it's like a cage, it's like a pet, you know what I'm saying? I have a Rottweiler. That Rottweiler cannot go out in the wild like a wolf and get his own food and all that anymore. It's now trained to it's domesticated. So our
Mm-hmm.
mitochondria has been domesticated, right? But it's still its own, right? And I tell my children, like, hey, that's a wolf right there, right? Like, don't violate the dog. Like, you can play with the dog, but don't violate. So we have to understand mitochondria is a separate organism, right? We feed all of our electrons and protons and the food substances to the mitochondria. So that whole electrical activity, that most of that electric activity that we come to recognize that people throw around in lingo, that's happening in mitochondria. The electron transport chain happens in mitochondria. That's in mitochondria. You have NAD feeding sugar electrons to cytochrome 1. You have FAD feeding fatty electrons to cytochrome 2. And that's how the whole magic is happening in the electron transport chain. But we are not fueled by those electrons. We are fueled by ATP being oxidized or hydrolyzed inside the cytoplasm of the cell. And when the ATP is broken down, the energy released is what fuels our bodies. Yeah. So that's a whole nother conversation, right?
Adenosine triphosphate.
Adenosine triphosphate, right? So that's basically like an amino, an amino structure with some sugar on there, right? An amino sugar kind of thing, and it's holding on to three phosphates. And when one of those phosphates breaks off, there's energy in the bonds of the three phosphates. One breaks off, that energy from the bonds of the phosphate. So it's going from adenosine triphosphate to adenosine diphosphate. So
Right.
when that one phosphate pops off, there's energy in those bonds. That energy that's released, that's what our cells use,
Okay.
not necessarily the electricity. The electricity, the electrons and all that is to facilitate that action. That's the action that we're looking for, the ATP, the phosphorus action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when that happens, the energy that's released is a combination of sound and light.
Mm.
And that is what actually fuels the cell.
So we could eat hip hop.
Well, I mean, I had an album called Sound Becomes Light. It's still available on all platforms. But I mean, I've been teaching the same thing for a long time. It's not like, like some people learn something yesterday and then they run out and be like, no, I came up with this. Like, no, I've been trying to raise the vibration, so to speak, get people's frequency up. Like, yeah, it's been a consistent uphill battle. I feel like I'm making some headway, especially, on platforms like yours where we have a more educated crop.
Mm-hmm. Is that why music gives us energy?
That's absolutely why music gives us energy. But there's a lot of room there, right? Because that's covered up. See, the true nature of our body is covered up.
Mm.
People read my books, they're going to see a phrase pop up all the time. God is music.
Mm.
God is music. God is music. God is music. They're going to see that phrase pop up a lot because music is more than what we interpret as, like music is about organization to force. Music is about organization of force. That's what music is about. Organization of force. That's the language of the universe. A scientist from these very institutions that I'm telling you, the institutions of misinformation, they would tell you that math is the universal language. And to an extent, that's credible. But math is only the universal language because it is what allows you to quantify music.
Mm-hmm.
So music is the thing because we can all understand, we can communicate with music even if we don't speak the same language.
Mm-hmm.
It crosses all boundaries. So that would make that the universal language as opposed to math that most people can't even understand.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, there's no communication if I don't understand it. And once you get past, so we have illiteracy. We have people that, primary, and if you watch popular movies, it's funny. If you watch popular movies, you notice that they use a very small vocabulary. And they use a very small vocabulary so they can appeal to the most widest group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because once you start speaking at a certain level, you start to alienate the audience.
Right.
Well, the same thing that we have with illiteracy, we have innumeracy. Yeah, we have illiteracy going on and we have innumeracy going on. Innumeracy is people, the inability to count.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had that going on longer than we've had the illiterate problem.
Mm.
Yeah, calculators have been around a lot longer than machines to read to us.
Right.
Right. But here's the thing. Our brains are hardwired based on function. If we stop counting for ourselves, which we did probably 100 years ago now, this is going on a long time. If we stop counting, the whole sections of our brain that are hardwired to count, and more important than count, because pattern recognition is a form of math.
Mm.
So that's a part of your logic, your ability to think, your ability to synthesize information. So once you don't have that, that's whole tracks, whole plots of your brain that are beginning to atrophy. Same thing with reading. This is the reason why we have such a epidemic of dementia going on right now. Yeah, you're a conductor. You're a conductor. We don't burn fat, we electrify it. When you look at a fat molecule, they're storing. So the other side, the molecule that we don't discuss, like it's glucose 6 phosphate. Glucose 6 phosphate. So the sugar is attached to phosphate. Phosphate is always there where energy production is. Phosphate is always there where energy production is. Like, for instance, we go to another place. We can go inside the fat, glucose 6 phosphate, but then we can go to cell membrane, phospholipid, right? It's phosphates attached to fatty acids on the cell membrane. And what happens? As ions cross the cell membrane, it produces a charge. Wherever the phosphorus is where the energy, that's the energy molecule right there. Wherever the phosphorus. So, and phosphorus is literally known, phosphorus, right? Phosphorus is known for being the light bearer. Yeah, because that's what phosphorus does, is produce light. That's literally where we get the term phosphorescence from. Yeah.
So let's go back. You said Kemet is being hidden. What were you alluding to when you said that?
Well, there's a whole entire different science that permeated the planet prior to the Greco-Roman takeover. So the popular science, right, that permeated the planet prior to the Greco-Roman takeover became secular. It didn't disappear. It just became secular. Hold on. Hey, close this door. Y'all just violate my live stream. Hotep Jesus about to punch somebody in the face.
Shout out to the kids.
Chase just came back from his basketball game. He must have scored a few baskets because he thinks he made noise all through. Right, come on. We don't care. You close my door. Nobody cares if you scored 2-3 baskets. You ain't hit the game winner. You know what I'm saying? But no, the popular science just went underground. It just became secular. Right. So the popular science was that the heart is the center of the mind.
Okay.
Right. Let's wrestle with this for a second, because now we getting ready to lose some folks, and then the folks that remain, these are going to be the deeper. We getting ready to go out to the deeper. You know, like no life jacket, no, like it's getting ready to get crazy. You know what I'm saying? So,
I better get ready to swim.
Yeah. So the id was the center of the body.
The heart. The id.
The mind. The mind centered around the heart. So at transition time, you had the weighing of the heart ceremony.
Right. So that's checking your mind.
Kind of.
Okay. Or your health.
See, we've been dumbed down. In a variety of ways. This is how the weighing of the heart ceremony is the first thing that turned me into opposition with the Kemetic scholars. And not to bring it back up, but that's how Shaka and me wind up, he kind of caught a lot of strays, and you just over there with, and it got, because I'm just, all the Kemetic scholars, y'all go over there. I'm going over here. I'm going to be over here by myself. Leave me over here by myself. Because our ancestors rolling over in their graves listening to y'all talking. So I'm going to stay over here, and, Now, Shaka, different individual, but Shaka has no problem with standing next to people talking gibberish, which is my problem, and that's how me and him got into it. You know what I'm saying? But I know Shaka. I want to work with Shaka in the future. But we have that video with him sitting next to Pharaoh while Pharaoh was talking pure gibberish. See, I would not have been able to, I wouldn't have been able to. But that's kind of how it started with the weighing of the heart ceremony. because I'm like, yo, the Kemetic scholars, y'all supposed to understand the weighing of the heart ceremony. If you understand the weighing of the heart ceremony, then y'all supposed to be out here with me on the front line fighting heart disease. How you understand the weighing of the heart ceremony and we not having no solutions for heart disease? They're like, hold up, Enqi, that don't one of those that don't even got nothing to do with each other. See, that's because you unscholar, y'all don't know what y'all talking. Whoa. You telling me that the science of the heart don't got nothing? I said, no. See, it's just the opposite. The proof that you don't know what you're talking about, and the proof that these folks that are credentialed don't know what they're talking about is right in the numbers. The heart is the number one killer. So if we knew how the heart worked, the heart would not be killing more people than anything else. Heart kills more folks than gangbangers, bombs, war, you name it. AIDS, cancer, none of that.
Heart disease, number one killer.
All time, every year. It's undisputed. Now, cancer and brain disease, they goes at it for number two. I call cancer and brain disease Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. They goes at it for number two. But heart disease, that's Braun. Heart disease is Braun. Like, oh, yeah, y'all can say what y'all want. I done scored more points than any other player that has ever played. So I'm not even going to have these conversations anymore. Period. I have scored more points than anyone else ever. On the professional, unprofessional, at Rucker Park, at West 4th, in your neighborhood. I don't have nothing else to prove. So if we understood the heart and how the heart worked, heart would not be the number one killer.
So what does this got to do with the heart ceremony, the weighing of the heart ceremony? What is when they weighing the heart, what are they weighing?
Well, okay, so we got to go back to, we got to walk it down slow. We got to go back to the Greco-Roman thing.
Okay.
Right, and then we got to go to the German thing because it goes Greco-Roman, German.
Yeah.
Right, so it's Kemet, then it's Greece, then it's Rome, then it's Germany, and Germany has not let up their grip. Right now, Germany is still on top of the world.
Right.
We don't think that they are because it's like, no, it's America, but it's German engineering. So yeah, it's America, but the science, like the engine under the hood, yeah, it's German.
Yeah, I mean, English is a Germanic language.
Yeah, and German mixed with French, and then you go, wait a minute, the Germans and French are the same. yeah. So it's and then all the scientists, Einstein, this one, that is German. So it's German engineering, right? So the problem though is we've got to a point where science now, the very science that they created to debunk Kemet, has bit them in the butt. Yeah, because see, you can't beat God. You cannot beat God.
But what they trying to
Kemet, they had two types of time. They had cyclical time and linear time, because linear time, if you let it go long enough, it'll turn into a cycle. Period. So you cannot box with God. Like so here's the thing, right? So Kemet says that the heart is the center of the mind.
Okay. What is the mind?
Soul, consciousness, the center of our experience, the retainer of our experiences, thoughts, ideas, philosophy, way of processing information.
Okay. Spiritus.
We can roll with that, even though that gets that can get a little crazy, but we can roll with that. We can roll with any of the terms that are familiar to the viewers, right? For this part of the
right.
So
consciousness
so in Kemet they go to heart, right? The heart, boom. Greek comes in, they go, we're not sure about that. We think it's Kepra. We think it's the beetle, right? Now, the beetle thing, the god Kepra has stuck around. The god Kepra is pervasive. It's like, we don't really but so the god Kepra becomes heptocytes, right? Because when they translated the Medu Neter, the KH just became H. So you got like 3 different types of H's. Right? So one of those H's is the H for hepta, which is the liver. So even though we say liver in a science textbook, it's going to be hept, right? So, and the liver is what? The only organ known to constantly regenerate itself. Keper is the god of regenerate. So anyway, so in Greek, they say the liver is the center of the mind.
Okay.
So so now Rome/Germany, they come in with the brain thing. And they go, no, it's the brain. And because they said it was the brain, that's what we stuck with. Like, okay, yeah, well, they must have not known what they was talking about in Kemet because, yeah, we proved it. It's the brain. Boom. Done deal. And it stayed like that for a while. And it still is like that. I'm the only one out here teaching something else. But the problem is Microwave Valley is a thing. Microwave Valley is a thing. Microwave Valley turned into Silicon Valley. Yeah. Silicon Valley is a thing. It's where people make billions and billions of dollars recreating stuff that we had 4,000 years ago. So we create these things, hard drives. And we had this conversation about the hard drives already. Right. Well, the thing is, you can't really develop the hard drive until you get the core principles down, right? So the core principle is electricity, light, and magnetism. So we start right there. Hold on. We can't even go past that. We teach, right? We teach that is our trinity. Light, electricity, and magnetism. One gets you the other two. So that's a real trinity. Light can get you electricity and then magnetism, or magnetism then electricity. Electricity can get you magnetism. Like, that's a real trinity right there, right? So we just put that, we park that right there on the side. So that you got to understand electricity, light, and magnetism before we can get into computers and computing and hard drives and memory storage. We have to know what the nature of information is. And then we have to know, once we have a tangible substance that we can quantify as information, then we can figure out systems that will store that substance. Follow me? Okay. Right? Because when we think about information, we think about codes. Like, oh yeah, well, it's binary coding or Linux or ABC or C++ or whatever. Like, no, that's not information. That's the thing that you input with the computer to interface with the information, but the information is energy-based. Light, electricity, and magnetism is all that's actually moving around. So that's what the doping, the silicone doping the chips, you have the 1 or the 0, the open or the close. Well, it's open, something's moving through, whether it's an electron or a photon or, but so once you get that, it's magnetism that stores information. That's a game changer. That right there, the moment that the Western world figured out magnetism is what stores information, that right there was supposed to be an instant return back to Kemet.
Why?
Because the heart has the largest magnetic field in the human body.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
So if anything in the human body is capable of storing all your information, all your experiences, it would be there.
God damn.
So this is how the science bites them back in the butt, because they figured out it's the brain. Then they also figured out that information is stored in magnetic fields. And then they also figured out that the heart's magnetic field is what, 100, 500, some old crazy number of times stronger than the brain's. It's not even close.
Wait. So that explains why people who get heart transplants take on the traits of the person that they got the heart from. Like some people say they got a heart transplant and then now they could paint, and the person they got it from was a painter or
Absolutely.
a piano player. Lord Jesus, here we go.
Listen, so we have to have these conversations, right? So this is why I'm saying it's a continuous cover up that's been going on, right? Because the science that was popular back then, it didn't disappear. It just became secular. See, this is why we have a new book. It's called The Living Code of Current.
The Living Code of Current.
Living Code of Current.
Okay.
It's on Amazon now. The Living Code of Current, because this entire paradigm has to get swept away. It just might be like coincidence, right? Like I don't believe in coincidence, but I do understand that we're living in a time period where people can't count, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if people can't count, that means that people can't recognize patterns.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't recognize patterns, you can't put 2 + 2 together to get 4, and you can't put 4 + 2 together to get 6. So you can't say to yourself, okay, so Christ is originally the word Christ is the term applied to the anointing of a dead body, properly prepared with the heart preserved. A whole process of a mummification, which is not even the real term, it's disrespectful, but the whole process of preserving the body was to preserve the heart. The whole process. They literally pulled the brain out with a tube, like like they just pulled they just flung the brain, like that wasn't even.
We don't need this.
yeah, give me that. Yeah, where we gonna put it? Open up one of the jars. Put that in. Yeah, but the whole body was prepared for the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So now, this term Christ goes from there, and then when the Greeks take over, it becomes private. It becomes secular. It becomes a private religion. The Christ. And then the term pops up again. The term pops up again in cardiology. The electric signature of your heart is called the QRST wave. Now go ahead and pronounce QRST out loud.
Christ.
Yeah.
Christ.
See, for me,
Christ.
that is a pattern. For me, that is a pattern. That's a pattern.
Q wave, R wave, S wave.
Yeah. And then the T wave is when, well, the T, there's not a T wave. The T is going back to rest to recycle again.
Okay.
But even if we take the T off, it's Christ.
It's Christ.
Yeah. So
QRS complex is an electrocardiogram, ECG, represents the electrical depolarization of the ventricles, indicating the beginning of a ventricular contraction.
You see that? What you're doing right there? That's what separates people. Because again, 3rd, 4th grade reading level. So that what you're reading right there, people that you might as well like like that's the Charlie Brown language. They don't know what that means right there. What that is for the folks at home listening, what that is it's the thing that makes you alive. It is the very first electric current that goes through your body. It's the electric current that initiates all other electric currents. When that current stops flowing, you're dead.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Which is the reason why when it stops, how do they try to bring you back?
They charge your ass up.
They charge the things up and hit you with electric shock.
Right.
Yeah, they don't hit you with a blowtorch. They don't put fire onto you. We don't burn fire for life. They don't light you on fire to bring you. They run electric current into you and try to jumpstart your electric heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you know that your brain has a heartbeat?
Right. Separate from the heartbeat?
No. Your brain beats at the rhythm of the heart.
That makes sense, because sometimes I feel my brain beating.
That might be high blood pressure. We're gonna say that you might be in deep meditation. We're gonna say that you might be in deep meditation.
I can feel it in my ears.
But here's the thing. No, because it's levels to this conversation, right? So let's go here, right? Let's go here.
Yeah.
There's so many different places. Okay, so let's go in two places, right? Remember, we just discussed the brain, and I keep reminding folks, spending the most money on health, sickest country. So obviously, we don't know what we think we know.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 10 years, we just discovered more types of neurons than we knew about the last 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that everybody that's been treated by a doctor has been undertreated or overtreated, just for the record.
Mm-hmm.
They've been undertreated or overtreated because they didn't know what they was doing. We had a whole glymphatic system in there they didn't know existed.
Mm-hmm.
We had a whole bunch of types of neurons they didn't know existed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's jump over to the heart. What is a cardiac melanocyte?
That would be some sort of cell in the heart that contains, melanocyte is a melanin cell in the heart.
How long have they known about cardiac melanocytes?
I don't know.
Correct. Newly discovered.
Mm.
Newly discovered. Newly discovered. So before the discovery of cardiac melanocytes, and they still haven't put the money in to really figure out this whole thing about what they're doing there. They just know at every important part of the heart, there's a lot of melanocytes. And the more melanocytes that are there, the longer your heart will function. Yeah. So the nodes, the nodes, which are the most important parts, right? The SA node, yeah. All of the transfer stations, where blood's going from one place to another, where electricity's going from one place to all of these places, cardiac melanocytes. Right? So we don't understand the anatomy of the heart.
It's saying it's an emerging field of research.
Emerging field, bruh. So what are we listen? So what are we doing? What are we doing? If the brain and the heart is emerging fields of research, what are we doing out here? This is where Kermit sips Blue Mat CMOS. This is where Kermit sips CMOS. So this is why. And so what happens, this is where it gets crazy because it gets spooky out here. Right? So this is where it's the misinformed misinforming the uninformed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because the people don't know, because the people are 9 to 5, or they might play basketball, whatever they do in their life, they're like, oh, no. We're going to leave the heart study up to the heart folks. And when we need heart information, we're going to go speak to heart people that's heart professionals. They're going to tell us about our heart. Yeah. So heart doctor, what I'm supposed to have, what I'm supposed to be doing. Oh, well, yeah, you're supposed to have this and this. Oh, okay. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, heart attack. Boom. Wait a minute. I'm following the guidelines set forward by the government based on the cardiologist. I'm following the guidelines set forward by the government for the standards of the nutrition and blah, blah, blah. Because all of this, see, we don't realize how all of these things are connected. When you go get some vitamins and the vitamin says daily value is this, it's based on these ideas of somebody knowing how your body works. So they're going to say, this is your brain. This is how your brain works. Your brain requires X amount of this every single day for your brain to be optimal. Okay. So if you don't know what my brain is made out of, how can the daily recommended vitamin dosage be correct?
Mm.
You don't know what the parts are. So you don't know what the fuel, you don't know what's happening there. You got new neurons. Oh, it's emergent field. You got a new lymphatics. Oh, it's emergent field. You got cardiac melanocytes. These are melanocytes that are not the same as neuromelanin or the type of cells in your brain, and they're not the same as the melanocytes in your skin. This is a new breed of melanocytes that are in your located. Oh, this emergent field. What is emergent field? Like, what do you mean emergent field? This is my what? Huh? So you're saying you don't know the answers. You don't know what this is. And it's thousands of these things inside my heart, located at important places. So that means you don't know how these important places work. Yeah, that's what that means. These important places in the architecture of my heart, you don't understand how they work. The only thing you can do to get some understanding is use an electrocardiogram, which measures the electrical activity. It's not a thermostat. Why don't they measure your heart with a thermostat? Why don't they use a heat measure why don't they measure the heat? Since we're on fire, we're combusting and we're burning. Why don't they use a thermostat? Yeah, because it's electricity. It's electricity. And so we can't even build any sort of understanding because and I've tried. So this is over time, I've got to the point where my frustration has been able to settle and I can have a conversation like this, even though I'm frustrated about all the things I'm discussing, because I've tried to discuss hormones. Like, oh, okay, we can't get it at hormones. Let's go a level deeper. All right, let's go a level deeper. Let's discuss cytokines. Right. Let's go a level deep. Let's discuss cytokines and chemokines and myokines, and let's get, maybe that'll none it doesn't matter what level people can't get it because you're not going to the root, the basic and holistic naturopathic. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And the root is electric signals. It's electrical signaling that's going to stimulate something else. So if we talking about a cytokine, a chemokine, a hormone, all of these things are stimulated electrically. They're all stimulated electrically. So if we're not understanding electric, it's like every day in your neighborhood, maybe 100 people get a box from Amazon. Right? Give or take, maybe 50. The number's arbitrary.
Say it again.
Every day in your neighborhood, let's say 10 or 20 people or 100. The number doesn't matter. But let's say people get boxes from Amazon.
Absolutely.
The boxes are pretty much the same boxes. They either send you the box or they send you that little white and blue plastic.
Right.
Okay. But the thing that's inside the package is absolutely different almost every time.
Yes.
That's the problem with the body. We're measuring envelopes and we're measuring boxes. And we're not getting to the nature of what's being carried in these envelopes and boxes. We go, oh, a hormone carries instructions. So your gland is going to make a hormone and it's going to send instructions to the body to. Well, what's the nature of the instruction? How is the hormone carrying it? Like, what is it that the hormone's carrying? I get it. The hormone is the box. The hormone is the envelope. But what is the nature of the letter that's inside the envelope? What material is that?
Mm-hmm.
You see, that's how my mind is hardwired. And then you come to find out, all you got to do is look at the hormone itself. You look at the molecular structure of the hormone, you go, oh, boom, the answer's right there. Because a hormone is pretty much an aromatic chain. Okay, so for everyone that doesn't know, aromatic amino acids, yeah, what they're doing is they interact with, carry, and translate light. So they are six-sided. So when you're looking at that six-sided, when you see all those six-sided rings, you can just pull up any of them. Anybody at home right now, just pull up any hormone you think of, and you're gonna name the hormone, and then molecular structure. Hit enter on the Google button, and you're gonna see five-sided rings, and you'll see six-sided rings. Yeah, the six-sided ones. Yeah, those ones there. Those are the stars of the show when it comes to interacting with light. And so now we go to the law of thermodynamics. The law of thermodynamics is that energy cannot be created or destroyed. Something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It can only be transformed from one form to another. Well, every time you transform energy, you produce information. And we know where information is stored in magnetic field. So this is why energy gives you the ability to do work. Work is the ability to transform energy from one state to another. Even if you just go from potential energy to kinetic energy. Every time you do that, you create information. Now we have mediums of storage and we have mediums of travel. This is why the Department of Defense put so much money into studying the nature of the human mind now. They just put hundreds of millions of dollars into this. Yeah, because they definitively figured out that it's not the brain.
Mm.
Yes, it's not the brain. They've run tests to go, okay, wait, there's two things happening. You have an automatic information processing system, and then you have another thing that we can't figure that out. And one thing can override the other. So you can get an automatic impulse, and then you can decide to act on it or not. So what is that? What's actually going on in there? So they're realizing, yeah, it's magnetism. All right, but the problem with that is we got to go back to the source of. So it's the problem is always theft, the plagiarism. Because the moment you figure something out and you go, oh, so this is this. Well, we have paper trails. We have, so we go, oh, so this is this. Okay, so who came up with this? Okay, we just figured this out now. Has anyone ever thought of this before? And then we go, ah, man. We get ready to empower all these militant black maniacs that's running around talking about Kemet.
And they scared of that.
They get ready to start parading in the street, even though 90% of the pro-Kemet folks don't know what they're talking about. This is a fact. This is the problem. This is why I have beef with all of the scholars, like guys like Reggie. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, there's a difference between studying rocks and studying science.
Mm.
Yeah. Kemetic archaeology is not Kemetic science. The Kemetic people weren't studying Kemetic archaeology. There was no ruins for the Kemetic people to study. They were still alive, living in their houses, building their monuments. So they weren't studying archaeology. They were studying living sciences. So if we want to get into the minds of these people, we'd have to study the living sciences. And they left papyri, they left written material, they left stuff. Yeah. Problem is we've been brainwashed to think otherwise. Yeah, we've been brainwashed to think otherwise. So now we believe that our body is burning. And that just so happens the source of that material is the source of the religious idea that we're in hell, that we're cursed from birth. And this goes everywhere. It goes everywhere. It's pervasive. It goes everywhere. It goes into justification for chattel slavery. It goes into, looking at school numbers and classifying political budgets this way and that way and judging urban this and that. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. So we can't even get back to the place, like the things that we're trying to do, some folks politically and some folks financially and some of the other, we can't get back to any of those things until we clean this science up first. We can't. That's why it all fails. We've had the greatest minds trying to unify us politically, trying to unify us financially, none of that can work until we get the science right. We don't know who we are. And we're looking for our identity in history books. And it's crazy. It's insane. Why would you be looking for your identity in a history book? Even if your ancestors wrote the history books. You are inside your flesh right now. You should be looking for who you are right here. Yeah. And figure that out. And figure your place in nature. And figure your place in the world. And then you go to the history books. And then you go to the science books. And then you go and move around. But you got to start with self.
Well, let me say this to the chat. Listen, chat. Activate your pineal gland, interact with your aromatic cells. And we got the moon rocks for sale, $325 a piece. You put this on your pineal gland.
Terrible.
Activate your ancestral memory. Find out who you are from inside. Find out who you are from inside. $325. We got the moon rocks right here. I'll send it to you tomorrow. Cash App, $ Hotep Jesus. All right, let's do a little recap here. Okay. Had to get my advertising off. Okay. Greco-Roman. No, let's go to the beginning. The Ib, Kemet. Greco-Roman goes Kepra, liver. Then we end up in Germany. We still in Germany. Brain.
Now listen, wait. The thing with the Greeks was they wasn't that wrong. Right? They wasn't that wrong if you believe that the brain is the center of function. Right now, if you're thinking with your heart, then it's all the way wrong, right? But if you're a part of the German idea that the brain in the skull is the center of the show, the Greeks are not that far off. Because the liver is what basically controls the brain. The liver and the heart are business partners. They are in 50-50 business in control of your brain. Think about this. You ain't even got to type. Stop typing. What is your brain made out of?
What's my brain made out of?
What is your brain made out of?
Water.
And fat.
Fat. Oh, yeah, I was just about to say it. Fat.
Yeah. And the liver's job is to metabolize all of the fat in the body.
The Google demons say...
Listen, this is why we're having plaque. This is why we're having Alzheimer's and the whole, beta amyloid plaque. Because we're having liver problems.
The Google demons say, yes, there is a significant bi-directional connection between the liver and the brain, often referred to as the liver-brain axis.
Listen, stop calling it the Google. There's that. I love Google. Google is a beautiful thing.
But it's demons inside the AI.
No, it's not. There's demons inside of people's cells. It's demons inside of people's bodies. It's demons inside of people.
My homie's an Orthodox Christian. He said it's demons in the AI.
Your homie is a wild beast. Your homie needs some Dr. Enqi books. Tell him to go get the Codex of the Living Current at Amazon right now. Like he's rushing to the emergency room to get it too. Tell him to pay the extra fast shipping. Like get it to his door tomorrow. Stop it. There's no demons in the AI. First of all, AI comes from Kemet.
Whoa, hold up, time out. AI comes from Kemet.
AI comes from Kemet.
Kemet had AI. ChatGPT and Kemet.
We didn't have ChatGPT, but the foundation of what we have today came from Kemet.
You gotta explain that one.
Well, it's simple. It's computer architecture. All of this is about, listen, I already explained it, but I'll bring it back and then you go, oh, that's what you said. It's electricity, it's light, it's magnetism. End of story.
But that doesn't explain large language models.
It's electricity, it's light, it's magnetism. So the first thing you need to be able to harness electricity, light, and magnetism for information transmission, creation, and storage is materials that interact with electricity, light, and magnetism.
Yeah, you're gonna need some silicone.
So that's the first thing you're going to need,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we got those over there. We got the faience and we got all that over there already laid out, right? But the more important part is you need the geometry. This is where masonry comes. You need the geometry.
Okay.
It's the layout, right? So it's not just a matter of having, like, we could just have a handful of metals. We could have a handful of metals and a handful of silicone, and it doesn't do anything. It's how those metals and silicone is arranged, which allows them to interact with photons and electrons, that allows them to store, transmit, process information.
Okay.
That architecture just so happens to be the same architecture that we used in large size monuments. Go on ahead and search it. Go ahead and finish. Hit the buttons a few more times. I like the fact that we can listen to your buttons press. Now go ahead, press some more buttons. Type in motherboard, transistor, microchip. Type in any of that versus ancient Egypt temple or something like that. Just any type of search like that and see what pop up. Go ahead. Let's talk to the demons. Come on.
It looked like a Kemet layout.
So what are we talking about? We're only talking about the ability to process information, which is to sort and organize light, electricity, and magnetism. It's never going to be something different. It's just the ability to sort, organize, store, transmit light, electricity, and magnetism. The only thing we're doing is getting better at sorting, storing, transmitting. So now when you get into the languages, now you're talking about interfacing between the human and the subatomic particles. That's what our keyboard allows us to do. Our keyboard allows us to speak in a code which allows us to dictate the movement of energy through the computer. Guess what AI is? If you want to simplify AI, you know what AI is?
What?
AI is coding for dummies. AI is coding for dummies, computer coding for dummies. That's what AI is.
I don't get what you mean.
Okay. Before AI, I had to know how to work a computer in order to get the computer to do certain things.
Yeah.
I had to know the technical way to do a thing.
You had to know how to code.
Now that AI exists, AI is basically the interface between me and the computer. I say, AI, go, make me a picture of, dunking on LeBron. And then the AI operates in whatever language it needs to because the AI doesn't actually do the work. The AI just does the computer language thing to whatever. So if you go to the backside of one of these AI programs, they have other programs that they access and use to make pictures or whatever. Make
libraries.
Whatever. Not just libraries, because libraries are just databases. But they have things that integrate those systems. So whereas it would take, back in Revenge of the Nerds, a guy with glasses that might look like this would probably tape in the middle. He would sit there and now you just say in your voice, and then the AI basically converts your voice command into the
right.
Yeah. So that's it. Nothing else has changed. It's not like the AI is creating the information. The humans are still the source of information. The only thing that gets spooky is when they start asking the question about entanglement. See, that's what we haven't discussed yet. That's what we was getting ready to discuss, because once we understand that this electric wave in your heart is the main thing that life centers around, and then we understand quantum entanglement, then we go, is it possible that the electricity, right? Because my heart is electrical because it produces a magnetic field. And I understand that electricity that produces a magnetic field, especially if it's moving, it's producing light. So I know we have light, electricity, and magnetism in my heart, which explains why we have cardiac melanocytes, because your heart is producing a lot of light. So it stands to reason you'd need those types of cells anyway. So if we have all the full family together, is it possible that our heart is quantumly entangled with something somewhere else?
Something like what?
I'll let you and every other person watching go ahead and have a personal relationship with that question. See, the science doesn't tell you what the other answer is. It just tells you that there's no distance that's too long. There's no distance that's too long for quantum entanglement. It just says that subatomic particles that are quantumly entangled are transmitting information to each other at light speed, at no matter what the distance.
So life is a simulation. We are inside the AI right now.
I don't think so. I don't ascribe to the simulation talk. I think that people succumb to that simulation theory because they, people especially black folks, we love to see an intelligent black man. So, Professor Gates get up there, he started doing his thing, and we in simulation, he shut down Tyson. I'm like, oh, Tyson ain't even that sharp, number one. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not that impressive. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then if you listen to him talk, he went back to Africa with it. He was like, yeah, because, I recognized the Indicras from the African trend. Whoa. I stopped right there. Like, hey, did y'all catch that part? Y'all talking about this simulation, but did y'all miss the part where he said he went back to these African symbols? Did y'all forget that part right there? Seemed like we had we got this cognitive dissonance. We just hear we just leave part. No, Professor Gates said that there's a mathematical simulation that we're. I said, yeah, but he also said African symbol. Did you miss that part right there? So I don't think that's not my interpretation of the information.
What's your interpretation of the information?
Binary coding. The universe runs on a simple system of binary coding.
So we inside the computer?
No, we're not inside the computer. Technically, it's no computer. Technically, there is no computer. So there's a level of thinking where you could go, okay, we're inside the computer. Then there's another level of thinking where you go, oh, there's no computer because I am the computer.
We are parts of the computer.
See, it's a technocrat, futuristic way of creating a victim mindset. It's the same thing as old school Christianity. Your God is going to. You have no. Your life is chosen. This is you have no say. You might as well just. Yeah, you might as well just do. That's why a lot of them white folks went crazy back in the day. I might as well just have sex and get high. I mean,
so the
I'm already a sinner. So yeah, I mean, and if I get saved, technically, I can just do anything, right? So I can just do anything and still be saved. Any sin? Like, wait, how far do we? What's the fine lines on this contract I'm signing here? So any sins, I'm good.
Shout out to Tanai in the chat.
So if I just start like grabbing some of these kids, or like what sin? Is there anything off that? So no, none of that's technocrat way of creating a victim. Like no. The closest I would say is that the computer is in us, if anything, but this is all a generation of our mind. This is all a generation of our mind. It's
We
all
are the computer.
It's magnetism. Listen, it's light, it's electricity, it's magnetism. That's the fundamental nature of reality. And when we get this burning thing in our mind, right, it breaks us away from the fundamental aspect of reality. Because the fundamental reality says, okay, where would you prefer to start? Would you prefer to start with matter, or would you prefer to start with energy?
Energy.
Okay, so we start with energy. Energy becomes matter.
Right.
How do we know? Because we know it's photosynthesis. We literally started the show discussing that. Photosynthesis, right? So photosynthesis creates the food. So now we have carbohydrates. We have the sun's energy, right, catalyzing the hydration of carbon, right? That's what creates the sugar crystals, right? Hydrating carbon atoms. So hydrate carbon. We're going to add water molecules to carbon, right? And carbon's going to do the thing that it does. Carbon is special because it has the most bonds. Carbon holds on to the most stuff. So carbon's going to hold on to some energy. Water is going to crystallize it, do its memory magic thing. Boom, carbohydrate.
Wait, right? Carbon doesn't have, what's that, the atomic number 6, right?
That's the number 6.
6 has a very esoteric. It's a whole lot of spooky.
It's not if you want to play around in the number space. Not only is carbon number 6, but carbon 12 happens to be the popular type of carbon that. So it gets, it gets a little crazy. Then 12 grams of carbon 12. Anyway, so
Tanai said sugar is crystallized light.
So okay, so stop right there. Let's just unpack that for a second.
He said it's the first thing.
For a second.
He says,
no more facts.
He said it's the first thing he teaches in his carbohydrate nucleic acid class. Sugar is crystallized light.
So we let that radiate. So if it's crystallized light, if we metabolize crystallized light, we would be breaking down the crystal structure and then releasing the light. That is like, if we simplify, right? If we go to the Google and we pull up all of those 15-letter words, it's boom bam boom bam bam boom bam bam boom bam boom bam bam boom. If we just go photosynthesis, crystallized light, boom, our body breaks down the crystallized light. How do we know? Because we don't deal with the substance. We don't deal with the substance. The water gets recycled, right? The water gets recycled. We might pee it out, right? The carbon, we breathe that out. So all of the Sabi folks that was running around talking about, oh no, I'm a carbon-based being, and I'm a carbon-based being, and I'm on a carbon diet. I was like, are you slapping me? What? Are you insane? Your body gets rid of carbon. Their body takes in the carbon food, and that's the one thing it makes sure to get rid of. So you stop saying that. Your body gets rid of the carbon. That's the reason why metabolism has to stay coupled to respiration. Every time you break down a sugar molecule, you have 2 free carbon atoms that are left over. You break that, simplifying. It's a 6-carbon molecule. You divide that in half. You have 2 3-carbon molecules. You divide those, and you have a 1 and a 2, and a 2 and a 1. Well, those 2 2s, those 2 doublets, those continue on down the system. That's going to go down the system and, produce other things, right? Cholesterols, and that's going to become other things. But those singles, those single carbons, you're going to have to couple 2 oxygen atoms to each one of those single oxygens so you can get rid of those because they're toxic to the human body. That's what CO2 is. 1 carbon, 2 oxygen, CO2. We get rid of those. So we're using the other stuff. It's about the light. It's about the electrons. And electrons is a means to an end because it's going to start the process, right? We have electricity, moving electric field, magnetism. Alternating electric fields and magnetism, electromagnetic radiation. We're back like it's light, it's electricity, there's nothing else going on out here. So when we look at food, it's a chain of life, right? We're not burning it. We're returning the essence. It's a recycling that continues to go on between matter breaking down, becoming energy, and energy building itself up to become matter. Energy builds itself up, right? You have subatomic particles that come together to make an atom. Then you have those same subatomic particles bond together between atoms to make groups of atoms. So now we got matter. So at a certain point, matter is energy. Metabolism is about using that energy, returning the stuff so it can be recycled back to which it came, and we can keep the cycle going.
So when we got the carbohydrates and we get rid of the water and we get rid of the carbon, what's left over? Light?
That's the magic. That's the magic. Yeah, that's the magic. That is the magic. The light.
The information.
The information. Yeah, that is the magic.
Somebody said I might as well throw away my flat earth card after tonight's stream.
Flat earth card is, that's respectfully. They went down to the South Pole and filmed that. That should have been the end of it. But I'm just saying, listen, the misinformation to the uninformed is the problem. Like, they just found a melanin bacteria.
Oh, what?
A melanin bacteria. This melanin bacteria is now implicated in kidney disease, high blood pressure, you name it. You over there pressing buttons again. Okay, so Prevotella, melaninogenica, something to that effect. PREV.
Melanogenica?
There you go.
It popped right up.
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. When the problem is, so here's the thing.
A species of bacterium in a normal microbiota of the upper respiratory tract.
So yeah, and what happens is if you build up sodium, then they start to act crazy. But what I'm saying is, and tonight will probably agree with this, science is beautiful if the scientist allows the information to take them wherever the information takes them.
Mm-hmm.
If the scientist,
tries to steer the information.
Well, sometimes, see, here's the thing. If it's grant money is involved, right?
He said facts.
Yeah, if the grant money is involved, right, then the scientist may not even be at fault. Because if there's grant money involved, the way grant money goes is it's like, okay, we're going to get some scientists to prove this because we have a product or a thing or whatever it is, and we need folks to prove this. So the scientists can get to work testing it, and they can pass off like 10,000 results. But if those results are contrary to what that money is for, nobody hears about those results. They only hear about the 1 or 2 that may be construed to seem like it works with this model.
Yeah, he said if you got a grant, you got to do what you have to do to keep it.
Yeah, that's it. And it's, it's situational. You
He
know what I'm
said,
saying?
which is
But
unfortunate because you might find something interesting, which is out of the scope of your grant.
man,
Damn.
listen, there's been a whole bunch of folks that have not lost their job. Well, lost their job because they didn't went outside the box, thought they was doing the right thing. Folks that then quit to do their own thing. Folks that do what their bosses tell them, and then later on they got the tell-all science book. Like it's the truth gets out. You know what I'm saying? The truth gets out. I just happen to be like a whistleblower right now. Like I'm whistleblowing like on this whole system right now. Like I'm the whistleblower. Like, hey, we have to stop this hell thing. This damnation, hell, living in hell thing forever. You're born a sinner and blah blah blah. I'm like, yo, speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. Stop. Yeah, stop. Nah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not with that. I don't care if you're black, white, yellow, red. I'm not saying that I'm born in sin, and I'm not saying you're born in sin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm saying my parents loved each other. And they started getting busy. And then there was me. Now, hey, maybe there are some folks born in sin. It's some stuff that goes down out here. Forced, it's just a lot of it's a lot of activity going on out here. But, a lot of people are born in love. Most people are born in love. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a whole bunch of misinformation that puts us off kilter. So we don't understand the nature of our body. So it's not possible for us to find health. It's not even possible. We have to begin to study again. We have to become a group of people that study. It's crazy that there are people that like Kemet. There are people that claim Kemet as their historical background and they don't study. They don't read books. I'm like, how are you claiming Kemet and you don't read books? Like, them people was well studied for. Like, do you realize they made the pyramid? Like, what do you think? What do y'all? I'm like, what do you think is going? Like, those are well studied people. They not gonna claim like if they, let's say for instance, let's go out on a deep one. Let's say the Kemetic people somehow got on a spaceship, whether they created one or somebody came to pick them up. Let's say they jumped on a ship and they went somewhere they saw what was coming. They didn't want to be a part of it. They jumped on a ship. They got up out of here. Now, let's say they pull back up. Do you think that what you're doing would make them proud? I'm going to answer that for 99.99999% of the people out there and say no. Period.
When they see that light skinned John sleeping in my bed, they gonna like it. They like, this nigga living right.
Well, when they see what you've done with the internet, they'll like it.
Facts.
Because I believe that they would like the internet. They would like AI. I believe that I already said it originated. So I don't, I would believe that they would love the innovators, the people embracing the future.
Mm.
But the people who do not read, I think they would shun and say, "You are not us. You. If we have a war, you're going in the first wave." They mastered. They won their battles that way. They put the like the lame, the unintelligent, they dressed them up in outfits and put them out. You go out, charge. Yeah. And then when the army think that's the real army and they jump out on them, then they come from all around the sides and all that and sneak them. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, come on, that's what they do. Like, people running around, super obese, dumb. They don't count. They can't eat. They can't count. They can't do 7 push-ups. Come on now. What are we talking about? You think people that build pyramids, they be like, yo, oh my God, I can't believe we left our DNA here for these people. Is that what you did with that? Like Jay-Z said, those ain't Rolex diamonds. What you done to that? Like, those ain't Kemetic jeans. That ain't Kemetic jeans. What you done to that? Like, what is happening right now? And we so fast to blame white folks. Like, well, the white folks have raped us and they've changed that. Stop it. Stop it. That pales in comparison to all the alcohol and burgers. You know how much cow DNA you ingested? You know how much chicken DNA you ingested? Trust, a little white man DNA is not going, that's not, trust me, that ain't it.
That Popeyes is smacking though.
Come on, man. Folks getting shot out there for chicken sandwiches. It's crazy. We worried about the wrong thing out here. I'm telling you, we worried about the wrong things out here. So this is why it's, you know, we put together and we try to do something really different with how we communicate the information. So we just telling a lot of stories.
So let's cap this off.
Yeah.
Kemet and the heart. What do we have to take home tonight? What's the one thing we got to take home tonight about Kemet and the heart?
Take home tonight,
because you know we you know over here, you know, personally, I love to hear about the gods and the connection of the gods to the science, and then the gods to God. You know, I love all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So just tell me what I want to hear.
Okay. Well, the one thing that we have to take away from tonight is the Codex of Living Current from Amazon. Just go right to Amazon, add that thing to your cart and check out. Go right to Amazon right now. Add that thing to your cart. The Codex of Living Current.
Hold on. It must be new.
It is. But it's up there.
It must be new. Hold on. Let's
Yeah. Codex of Living Current. It is up there.
Nigga, how many books you got?
On Amazon?
Yeah.
About 120.
God damn, nigga. Slow down. We can't even read them shits as fast as you writing them motherfuckers.
Well, the problem is I've written over 100 books before Amazon. So I have the advantage of writing books from my books.
You said what?
I wrote about close to 100 books before Amazon.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, like it was self-printing and self-publishing, and some books I printed and published myself, you know what I'm saying? So now that Amazon's available, I'm rewriting a lot of my old books.
Oh, I got you.
It's not the same as somebody that would have to go from scratch.
So you're like revisiting old material and updating.
Well, it's new material. Nobody knows it.
Right.
So even though I'm saying melanin's photovoltaic, nobody like, no, people still running around saying, oh yeah, it's even chlorophyll. Like, what? You are disrespecting Osiris. Do you understand that the perfect black was depicted green? Like, what are we doing right now? What is we don't get it. The perfect black was depicted green. Go to the Book of Gates, Hour 7. The Book of Gates, Hour 7 shows you clear proof of quantum mechanics and Kemet.
Wait, what? Say that again. What shows
you? Punches don't stop. Listen, the punches don't stop. It's Mike Tyson hits.
You going too fucking fast.
It's hard blows. It's bah.
What's quantum mechanics and Kemet?
Listen, you went to get popcorn and it was a knockout by the time you got back to the seat. You went to get popcorn, you thought it was over. Like, oh, wait a minute, we got a few minutes. Let me go get it. Fight is over. Well, I paid $700 for these things. It's over. It's over. You missed it.
What's quantum mechanics?
We go to the Book of Gates. Right. Go to the Book of Gates.
What's that?
Kemetic text.
Okay. The Book of Gates.
Yeah.
Ancient Egyptian funerary text.
Yeah. And we go to hour number 7. Like there's a bunch of little spots, but hour number 7 is my favorite because it is the most clear, blatant easy to understand description of quantum mechanics.
Ra passes through the gate, guarded by one who seizes with his eye. In this scene, Ra comes before 12 men who carry Ma'at feathers depicting they have been judged to be true and good.
Wait, let's stop right there for a second. See, I gotta, because this is how I got into beef with the Kemetic guys.
Yeah, you fucking up right now.
Because look, no, listen. They was running around saying feather of Ma'at.
Yes.
No, it's not the feather of Ma'at. That's what I'm saying. See, I had to come and be like, hey, stop that. Stop letting these women rip our men off like that. This is still going on to this day. Women just getting half, like, what is going on? Like, how would you just, nah, that ain't your feather. You just wearing it. That's not the feather of Ma'at. That is called a shut, because it is the feather of Shu. That belongs to Shu. It's called a shut.
So Wikipedia is wrong right here.
Yes, absolutely. The name of the feather is named after Shu. It's his.
Okay.
Not only is the feather named after Shu, but
the Ma'at feather is named after Shu?
Yeah, it's not called the Ma'at feather. That's something that folks just came along later and started calling it. It's called the Shut.
SHUT.
There you go. But here's the thing.
Yeah, it says Shu. The feather used as a symbol of Shu, the Egyptian god of air.
Come on.
And the feather of Ma'at and the goddess of truth and order. Shu is often depicted with a feather on his head, and the feather itself was a symbol of Ma'at, it says, used in the judgment of the deceased. How can it be?
Right. You just let that happen. Just let it happen. That's called confusion.
Wait a second. That was a little contradictory right there.
Absolutely. So that's why you have to go to the name of it. If you go to the name of it, it's not named after Ma'at. It's a shut.
And if he's the god of air.
Well, he's the god of a few things.
But if he is the god of air, then that means he would be the most closely associated with the feather. Because feathers fly in the air.
Electricity, light, the breath, all of those things get attributed to Shu. Shu's my favorite.
All right, so let's go back to hour 7.
Okay, so
this is
wait, no. We still on this feather.
Okay.
Because we on weighing the heart ceremony. If you remember, you act the overarching question was, what do we take away from tonight about the heart?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So weighing of the heart ceremony. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, there's only 3 things. I keep bringing you back to that. When you ask me about the computers, I say electricity, light, magnetism. When you ask me about the body, electricity, light, magnetism. Kemet, electricity, light, magnetism. Okay, so we're looking at the weighing of the heart ceremony. Right? When you look at the weighing of the heart ceremony, it's 2 things. Right? You have on one side, you have the heart.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side,
you got the feather.
You have the feather.
Mm-hmm.
Now, immediately when I saw that, I immediately knew what I was looking at. The problem is most people are one-dimensional. So if a person doesn't really study anatomy like that, they're going to look at it through their lens. So if a person calls himself a Kemetic scholar because they study the Medu Neter, that doesn't qualify them to speak on anatomy.
Mm.
They don't study anatomy. They don't know anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know that the heart is the most magnetic organ in the body.
Mm-hmm. So
you don't know that there's a possibility that they're using the heart to symbolize magnetism.
Now what the fuck?
It's out of your purview. Yeah, it's out of your purview.
So what they got to do with the feather?
Well, we have feathers.
Who's we?
Me and you, humans.
We got feathers.
We have feathers.
In the heart?
No, holding up the heart. Yeah. Yeah. I told you, listen, I got to bring folks back. Listen, I got to bring them back. We spend the most money on health. Listen now, because I know some of these things. Listen, when I say them, I can hear myself talk. So I understand. I understand the effect. Listen, I understand the effect. Listen to what I'm saying. Because when I show it to you, you're going to be like, oh, wait. So listen, you got to understand. We spend the most money on all forms of health, and we're the sickest country. That means the things that we think we know, we do not know. It's like I learned this from my father, right? Say, for instance, you lose your keys in the house. He'd be like, did you check in the? I'm like, no, I ain't check over there because I know my keys ain't over there. He'd be like, hold on, hold on, hold on. If you don't know where your keys are, then you don't know where they are not. You don't know where your keys are. So look everywhere and then you'll find your keys. People that don't know anything about their body, they immediately know what it's not. Oh, well, I know it ain't. I know it ain't. You don't know nothing. You think you know. Just like the scientists think they know. They just know how to collect that bag. When you hear little children decide they want to grow up and be heart surgeons or brain surgeons, that's not because they want to learn the brain. It's not because they want to learn the heart, because they want to get that bag. That's why they're driven to those businesses. Yeah, the heart doctor gets that bag. Yeah, I want to go into cardio surgery. Yeah, I want to get that bag. You're not changing the world. We've had great heart surgeons. They haven't changed the world. They haven't improved health. The heart is still the number one cause of death. So back to the feather. Back to the feather. Now, you know it's not going to be an actual feather, right? Just like the heart is not magnetism, but the heart is symbolic of magnetism in the picture, right? But there's a whole system inside the human body that's always hush, hush, don't discuss that. It's quiet. Nobody discusses it. Everybody pretends like it doesn't exist. So go ahead and type in proteoglycans.
Proteo
Glycan.
glycan.
Proteoglycan.
Sound like a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like little rectangle feathers.
Oh Lord Jesus. Oh Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh Lord Jesus. What the fuck is going on here? What in the hell?
This is why there's a lot of people buying Dr. Enqi's books, because it's hard. It's rough. It's rough. They go, wait a minute, there's no feathers in there, and then they go look at the picture and they go, wait a minute, these definitely qualify as something that, yeah, these look just like feathers. Yeah, I could see how they just, yeah, these are feathers. And then when you find out that they store electricity, you go, oh, 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 wait a minute. These things that look like feathers store electricity? So hold on. When we're looking at the weighing in the heart ceremony, you telling me that we got magnetism balanced against electricity? Oh, ah. That's why I be saying, listen, you can't play with them folks that built them pyramids, man. You cannot play with them people, man. You cannot play with them people. Because now, once you have what? Once you have alternating electric and magnetic fields, you have light. And what is the way into the heart ceremony? To judge your soul. And Kemet is the place of the origin of the light body. I mean, it's literally, I mean, listen, I don't, listen. That's why I'm just saying, I don't even play with these people. I don't even play with these people. Yeah, you got to wrestle with it. because science it's already right and exact.
Nah, Enqi, when you put the heart on it, tell you if you a good person or not, man.
It's still going to do that because it's going to judge your information. That's the thing that electricity and magnetism represent together. Light.
Oh, come on, Enqi.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christmas.
So those proteoglycans, for the people that don't know out there, they make up the fascia system. Or fascia, however you want to tomato, the fascia or the fascia. But nobody really gets into the system, but it stores electricity in the body. So your body is largely a system of capacitors designed to store energy. And this is why fat is stored as glucose 6 phosphate, because phosphate is always the thing that's going to turn to or create some electricity or some light. It's always going to be in the electricity or light making process. This is the reason why our circulatory system is magnetic. They go, wait a minute, Enqi. I read the textbooks. There's no magnetism in your circulatory system. See, it's insane. It's misinformed, educating the uninformed. How could the heart be the most magnetic thing in the body, and then they say there's no magnetism in the circulatory system? Now, how can that happen? How that's the same thing like when you read the feather of my eye is the feather of the shoe is the feather of my eye is the feather of the shoe. It's yeah. It's the misinformed educating the uninformed.
Chat, I got magnets coming. You can pre-order the magnets. You take those, you put them on your chest. Okay, you start communicating with Shu.
No. Listen, you put them things on your chest, you might stop your heart. Listen, when blood is oxygenated, it becomes diamagnetic. When blood is oxygenated, it becomes diamagnetic. See, we got books on all of it. That's why so many books, because I got so much stuff to talk about. So it has to go in books. And then when people read the book, they go, Enqi, you got all these scientific journal articles in these books. I'm like, duh, because I have to validate the things I'm saying. Because if I don't do that, this sounds crazy. Like when I say there's feathers holding up the heart, you go, Enqi, come on, bro. It's late at night. We could have went to sleep getting ready for tomorrow. Like, we don't have that kind of time up here, champ. But then I go, okay, well, go ahead and pull up the proteoglycan and look at the aggregens and go,
where are the proteoglycans in the body?
The proteoglycans are the units that make up the fascia system.
We went over the fascia system last year. I mean, last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, we're still building on it though.
We still building on that.
We're still building. We just getting to the architecture. We just getting there.
And that's the connective tissue that surrounds and holds together organs, blood vessels,
everything.
Bones, nerves,
everything.
Muscles, everything.
Everything.
3D network of fibers.
Everything. That's why it is insane that nobody discusses this system. It's like, hold on, how do you, and this is how I just be asking people these questions like, yo, how do you say that you know how the human body works? You don't know what this is. How you say you know how the body works, you don't know what this is. This is the thing that's holding everything up. You think stuff just floating in your body? No, it doesn't float. This is holding everything up, and it's regulating everything. It's regulating everything. Like they just discovered, oh, wow, the brain has a lymphatic system. No, everything in your body has a lymphatic system, even the heart. Wait, the heart has a lymphatic system? That's a problem right there. That's why everybody was focused on herbal detoxes. My detox came with liquid. Like, no, you got to do these liquid drops in your water, and you got to have X amount of glasses of water. They're like, Enqi, that's not even a deep. What is that? I'm like, okay, let me stop you right there. Your lymphatic system, okay, the way your body actually cleans itself, it does that with water. So if you're not addressing the water, you're not really, you're just getting beat.
It say right here that, hold on. Wait, where am I?
Right now, you're in the middle of adding the codex of living current to your Amazon cart.
Wait a second. So where the protoglycans make up the fascia?
Correct.
You sure about that?
Yes.
Protoglycans are important components of the extracellular matrix, ECM, in fascia. Wow. Wow. In fascia, these gags, glycoaminoglycans, particularly help to create a hydrated, gelatinous substance.
They got the crown. Listen, do you know the crown in Kemet? They got the crown in Kemet from the heart. The heart was everything in Kemet.
What you mean they got the crown in Kemet from the heart?
The crown in Kemet is shaped like a pericardium.
Oh, what?
Okay, now we out for the night. It's too much. It's too much. We out for the night. It's over.
Pericardium.
It's over. That's too much. They got to get the book. They got to get the book. Man. It's too much. We going too crazy.
Where's the pericardium?
The pericardium is the thing that your heart is in. So the heart's in its own little bag.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the heart's in a little baggie.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's inside us. It's like a little pouch and shit.
Mm-hmm. And that little pouch has all of the heart water.
Heart water.
Yeah.
And what's the crown in Kemet called?
Just pull it up.
Crown and Kemet.
And pericardium.
Yeah, I got them pericardium on the screen.
Okay.
But you said it looked like the crown in Kemet.
Mm-hmm.
So what's...
If it don't pop up for you. I'm about to say, if it don't pop up for you, they got to get the book.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Yeah, our crown got that little arc to it. Mm-hmm. All right, so hold on. We got to go back to the Book of Gates, hour 7. Before I let you go. Ra passes through the gates, guarded by the one who seizes with his eye, and is seen Ra before 12 men.
Whatever you're reading is an excerpt. That is not going to be the actual whole thing.
Right.
Right.
So...
But the gist of hour number 7.
Okay.
Osiris, the green skin, they organized those 12 workers that you was reading about right there. They organized those 12 workers to facilitate the work to grow plants out of Osiris's skin.
So who are the 12 workers?
12 workers represents the number 12.
12 months of the year, 12 hours of the day. What else is it?
It's just organized structure to quantum forces, to subatomic particles.
So what these got to do with quantum entanglement?
Okay. All right. So
because you said hour 7.
Right. So we might. All right. So yeah. So we might have to go move around a little bit. Geneva Convention and double slit. We might have to move to a few different. So I'm taking for granted that people are kind of.
No, we know about the Geneva and the double slit experiment. We know about all of that.
So here's the thing: you have quantum behavior exhibited by subatomic particles. You have organized charge. You have electrons moving as organized intelligent units. In the book 7, they're demonstrating clearly that they understand that the structure that organizes energy produces the work that life comes from. Why the perfect black is green. Because in biological systems, it's pigment that organizes energy and gives it that structure.
So you got to know anatomy to be able to see what the fuck is going on in these books.
You do have to be able to know a little something about a little bit of something. But I try to, in my books, simplify things. See, back in those books, we're looking through a whole lot of different lenses to try to peer back through time to figure out what people that thought different, dressed different, different perspective, different language, different systems of counting. Think about the Kemetic math. In Kemetic math, they originated the binary mathematics. We now don't teach our children or ourselves binary math unless you're a computer coder. But they did arithmetic, multiplication, division, all that based on binary counting. So that means that the way our computers run is the way their minds ran.
Okay.
Which goes back to me telling you that the AI originated back there. Because not only do we have the structure for the actual computer architecture, but we have the math that gives us the ones and the zeros all the way up to the C++ and all of that originates right there.
Tanai said pigment is influenced by metals and aromaticity and conjugation.
That is a fact, which is the reason why you got the magnesium, star of the show, iron, star of the show. You got, yeah. That is a certified big fact. But again, if we think about the nature of metals, metals are conductors. Nature's participants. That's the gift of being a conductor. A conductor can absorb a photon and eject an electron. Or just allow electrons to move freely and create some magnetism or something like this. Yeah, metal is part of the show.
You did it again, Enqi. You did it again.
Been one of those nights.
You did it again. I don't know how you keep doing this, but you done did it again. I don't know how many weeks you gonna keep able to do this, but we rocking.
It's one of those nights. Nights like this, I wish raindrops would fall. But no, it's a whole series. This is a whole series where we're attempting to simplify the information. Simplify the information.
Markel said, "When are we getting Doc and Doc collab? We waiting for Tanai to finish. He got to grade some finals. He got students to graduate. Okay, once Tanai is done educating the next generation of children, he gonna be off for the summer. We gonna get him in here in Kemedicine. Your mind's really gonna be blown."
Yes, and see, that's perfect timing because I get to cool off as soon as he start heating up.
Why you get to cool off?
Listen, somebody got to pass the rock and somebody got to score the rock. Right now, you passing, I'm scoring. Once I get Tanai up here, I can pull out. Listen, LeBron had to score when he had to score. Now he can transition to throw some lobs and some assists. He's still him. He still can put 20, 30 together for you on a nightly basis, but he can put 15 assists together as well.
So you gonna be playing a one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing a one.
And Tanai playing a two.
Tanai's gonna be playing the three. Tanai's gonna be catching alley-oops. He's gonna be hitting the threes. He's gonna be working tonight. We only got him for the summer. We gotta, get as much out of him. Listen, y'all, trust me. When y'all get Tanai on this, be selfish. Don't think about Tanai's well-being. Just think about yourselves at home. Like you want to get as much of what's in his brain out of his brain while you have him on the stage.
Facts.
All of that.
Facts.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I got goosebumps already. Tonight, get ready. You dunking the ball. You catching oops. You shooting threes. You shooting from the half court.
He doing he doing chase down blocks. yeah, yeah.
Catching rebounds.
Yeah. I'm gonna just be translating like when he said the metal and interact with the aromaticity. Like whoa, fourth grade reading level champ. Like this. Yeah, 99% of we're gonna have to take us back to the six-sided. See, I did six-sided shape. I said six-sided shape. He said aromaticity. See, we having the same conversation though. I don't know if everybody understands that. That's what he's talking about. What I'm talking about. I'm talking about what he's talking about. But yeah, I'm saying I'm hexagon. See, hexagon. The hexagon. Second grade, third grade. We know what a hexagon is. We good.
Aromaticity damn sure is a motherfucking six-sided fucking structure.
Yeah. We having the same combo. It's just I done learned like, okay, third grade reading level. This not gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hexagon. This is. Remember, I'm coming up in Philly teaching where it's the dope boys, the strippers, the shooters. This is like 60% of the room. We got a few college students mixed in with a couple of Black conscious folks, but mostly it's the people of the neighborhood. Like, yeah, so I'm in there like, yeah, so mitochondrial biogenesis, and they looking at me like, like what? What is that? What'd you say? They hitting each other with elbows, like, yeah, this nigga think he's smart, ain't he? I'm like, oh, okay, my bad. So what happens is the little energy things that's inside your cell, when you exercise a certain way, they divide so you have more of them to produce more energy. I see a few more faces light up. I'm like, oh, okay. We were, okay. So listen, what happens is the plugs start working with you on consignment. They're like, oh, yeah. Got you. I knew I was going to find the right analogy for you. I got you. I can work with you. Wherever you at, I'll find you. Yeah.
All right. Another good episode in the books, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that share button, that like button. You know, go get the textbook, Kemedicine. Go get that now. That's the textbook we reading out of for the classroom. Buckle your boots, because as soon as Tanai done teaching the next generation of children, we getting the double team. Okay. I'm just the GM. I'm just the GM.
I want to get Tanai on vitamin K.
You said what?
Vitamin K.
What about vitamin K?
That's what I want to ask him. I just said I want to get Tanai here on vitamin K.
Oh, you want to ask him about it? Okay.
Yeah, I want to just,
pick his brain a little bit.
Vitamin K is very interesting.
Okay.
Vitamin K is very interesting.
Sounds like an episode.
Yeah, vitamin K is involved with quantum behavior and just all over the place. Vitamin K is wild. And vitamin K we get from greens unless we eat other creatures. So we can get it from like cheese and meat too, but we get it from greens.
All right, say less. He said phylloquinone.
He's doing that thing again. That's aromaticity. That's exactly. He just repeated. He just said vitamin K again. That's like if somebody say something in Russian. You know what I'm saying? Like if he say basketball in Russian, he's like, who's his lefties? I'm like, no, I speak Russian too. That what he just said, that means basketball. That's what that means.
He said it's a great electron carrier.
Yeah. That's the quantum behavior right there. It definitely get involved with quantum behavior. And then it's related to his cousin. They got a play cousin. You know what I'm saying? CoQ10. That's like a play cousin. They're not really related, but they're not really related, but they grew up together. That type of relationship.
Like Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So in humans, vitamin K play in the blood with the big. So in China, right, they do macro circulation, micro circulation. Right, when you get into the arts, they do the macro and the micro, right?
Yeah.
Now, me studying that, when I got that information, immediately I saw heme groups, right? Because we have a macro heme circulation and a micro. Okay. The macro circulation is your blood system. The microcirculation is the electron transport chain. And so in the blood, you have vitamin K. In the electron transport chain, you have CoQ10.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those are both heme. Yeah, anyway, my bad. We out here for the night.
He said zeaxanthin plus carnitine.
Yeah, he going crazy. He going crazy.
Oh man, we about to be motherfucking Yaku by the time they done with us.
That's what we're doing right here. He putting together chain reactions in nutrients for y'all. That's what that is. That's a chain react. He's putting together a chain reaction of nutrients. But that's literally how I make my herbal formulas. Like, so I can recognize what he's doing. Like, okay, this does this, this does this. I put these together, then this does this, and then that does this.
The chain reaction.
That's all chemistry is, though. That's all chemistry. Biochemistry is this. One thing happens, then another thing happens, and then there's a lot of domino effect.
Okay.
So the only difference between herbs and actual pharmaceutical drugs is pharmaceutical drugs is like an isolated thing. So the action is a lot more potent. So you get a faster reaction, but you also have a higher risk for side effects. Whereas if you took the plant might if you took the plant instead of the drug, like the plant where the drug was extracted from or isolated from, it would probably take a lot longer to get the same effect.
Right.
That's like metformin and purple lilac. Metformin comes from purple lilac. Metformin will work a lot faster, but you have a lot more stuff going on.
Plant matrix is like fiber for carbohydrates. I don't even know what the fuck he just said, but that shit sound dope. Plant matrix.
Yeah. That's the flesh of the plant.
It's like fiber for carbohydrates.
Listen, I told you, I'm just gonna be passing. I'm not doing that with him. I'm passing the ball. Yeah, after the first season, D-Wade was like, Bron, this is your team, champ. I'm gonna just pass you the ball. Yeah, I'm your team, Bron. You gonna take us where we need to go. I'm gonna pass you the rock and get out the way. You just let me know if you get doubled or something, then you pass it back out. I got you. But we're gonna dump this. Him and Chris Bosh. Like, yeah, we're gonna get these rings off. Yeah, Bron. Yeah. Bron, let us know what to do. We're running the Will Smith plan. If you're wide open and you have the ball, what do? Pass to Will. If Will is double team or triple team, and you pass it to Will, like we running the Will Smith program.
I'm gonna be Carlton trying to take the shot. Bong.
We're just gonna hear the sneaky buttons. We're gonna hear the sneaky buttons. Like, what did Tanai say? Don't you press those buttons while we got Tanai right here. Just Tanai, break it down.
I'm a visual learner, so I gotta see the words.
Yeah, sometimes
if y'all say it, I'm not gonna retain it. But if I see the word, it's stuck, it's stained. I'm a visual. That's why I'm good at chess, because I'm a visual learner. I look at something, it only take me when I was younger, I could look at something immediately. Now, it's I'm a little bit older, so I got to look at it 2-3 times. But yeah, I'm a visual learner. I got to see shit.
Are you good with this internet? While you was ahead of the game.
Tanai said, Hotep acting like I ain't been up here numerous times. He know what the program is. Facts.
Exactly.
I had Tanai up here, but he was walking us through the pandemic, holding us by the hand. So which they try and listen. You got a little group of folks trying to bring it back. They said the Chinese motherfuckers is bringing viruses over here, tucked in their coochie and some more shit.
Man, they sound so crazy on the. Oh yeah, California, the infection rate's going. I said, oh my God, if y'all don't knock it out, stop calling my damn phone with tell me what's going on over there.
Michigan,
Chinese restaurant.
They just caught a Chinese woman in Michigan.
It's a lot of Chinese women in Michigan. They better knock it down.
They said she had a virus in between her coochie lips or something. She was trying to smuggle in the country or some shit. Let me see. Chinese.
Unnecessary roughness. That just sounds insane. That's not possible.
I'm telling you.
You know how small a virus is? That's you can't smuggle. You're not smuggling a virus in.
Look, I'm putting on the screen.
What do you mean
Chinese
in a
Wuhan
vial?
student, Chinese PhD student from Wuhan tries to smuggle biological materials to the U.S.
That's crazy.
Chen Wang Han from Wuhan
That's
said
crazy.
FBI Chief Kash Patel, pointing to the Chinese city from where C-19 came from.
That's nasty work right there.
She tried to smuggle biological
Listen, as
material.
soon as you say Wuhan, it's crazy.
Look at the thing on the screen. What that look like, y'all? That you tell me she ain't put that in her coochie? You telling me she ain't stuffed this in her coochie to get it here? Where you think they found that out?
Bro, you are dangerously close to getting thrown out of the game. You already got a 15-yard penalty.
I'm just telling you what the news said.
At this point right now, you done threw your helmet down. You're arguing with the referee.
Wait till I find out where she headed at. I'm gonna be right. Niggas know when I say shit, I be right. Han allegedly made false statements, blah, 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 blah. Accused of smuggling Fusarium graminearum, classified as an agro-terrorism weapon. Could destroy crops worth billions, cause vomiting, liver damage, reproductive issues in humans and livestock.
And you telling me she put that up in her private place?
She put that shit in like a little, this looked like an inflated condom. I don't know what this thing is.
Nah, come on, bro.
Chad, tell me this don't look like an inflated condom.
Listen, I'm not going to say what it look like or don't look like. I'm just saying we got to be a little.
Or is that a petri dish?
Listen, we got to be a little skeptical in the age of deep fakes and fake news. I'm just saying we got to be a little skeptical. We got to,
Kash Patel said it. Kash Patel, head of FBI.
Woo! That says it. That's it right there. Then clear. I mean that means it's a fact right there. That's woo.
This Kash Patel, the newly appointed director of the FBI, Trump put him in charge.
Listen, because clearly
he the real
Kash
deal.
Patel understands viruses and he knows what he's talking. Clearly, he's the virologist. Clearly, he's a decorated virologist. Virus is too small to be in a baggie. Like you can't even put a virus in a baggie. Like
it looked like a petri dish. He tweeted this. Director Kash Patel arrested a second Chinese national on charges of smuggling biological materials. Look like it. I think this is a petri dish.
I don't know. I'm not putting that smut on Kash Patel name.
He tweeted this. This is from the official Kash Patel X account. Know. Go to Kash Patel X account.
Listen,
on Twitter.
I don't know. Tariq Nasheed.
Right here. Addressed individuals associated with a lab at University of Michigan. That's right there by you. They dropped a virus off in your backyard.
Kanye said he did fellatio to his cousin. On Twitter, right there on his Twitter account. Like I just listen. I'm just trying to tell you, it's wet and wild out there.
I think they try to make this biological weapon to take you out, Enqi.
Well,
I think this was directed at you. Why would they be in Michigan with it?
That's a good answer. That's a good question.
You got a book for this?
Yes, I do. Hold on. I do. I got. Hold on. We got. Hold on. Don't play now. You know I do. Hold on. Hold on. We're gonna find it. I ain't gotta look too far. We're gonna find it. Hold on. Took off my wine.
CCP sent it over. Trying to tell niggas. I'm telling you, man. When I speak,
here we go. Right here. We got one right here. Soulcraft, the lab work. Herpes versus leukemia.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this is one book that's on the little creepy crawly guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we got another one floating around here somewhere. Oh, See, this is why they be all over the place, because I be reading my own books,
Yeah, I'll be having to study my work too.
outlining, writing other books, because it'll be like sometimes I'll say something in a book. Oh, this is not exactly, but this is kind of important. This is the allergy book.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a part of that, because that's, you need to know about your HLA system. But no, it's another one floating around here on HIV, PCOS, something or other. Yeah,
All
all
right.
little critters. But yeah, I definitely got books on, yeah. It's no such as science that has something to do with the body that you could say, Enqi, you got a book? Absolutely. Probably 2, 3, 4 of them.
All right. Well, there you have it, y'all. Another episode of Kemedicine with the critically acclaimed, the minister of medicine, Kemedicine.
The feathers tickling your heart. But no, that way into the heart ceremony is tough, bro. That's tough.
That's heavy.
That way into the heart ceremony, because then all right, so you got the feather, you got the heart, but now we got to look at the muscles and the bones.
Oh, Lord.
Right? The muscles and the bones is what? A system of levers.
True.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we don't even realize what we looking like. The level of artistry. Remember, the word for beauty in Kemet is Nefer.
What that
The
mean?
symbol of beauty in Kemet is Nefer, which is a heart and a windpipe.
Mm.
Yeah, so the most beautiful thing as far as Kemet is concerned is your anatomy, is your biochemistry. That's what they were about. So that's what art was about, science was about, everything was about that, because the gods were the forces of the universe. The forces of the universe inhabit the body. They bring it to life. So that's how you get to know the gods, by getting to know yourself.
Damn. It's the heart and the windpipe. It looked like a cross.
That's why I got a whole bunch of books. Neferland. A whole series of books. Neferland.
It originally may have been the esophagus and heart. The striations of the windpipe only appear in the hieroglyph following the old kingdom of Egypt. The lower part of the sign always clearly has been a heart, for the markings clearly follow the form of a sheep's heart. Wow. This is interesting.
The lamb.
The Nephilim.
Another reference.
Oh, the
Another
lamb.
reference.
Come on. They done jacked everything.
Come on now. Another reference, but specifically the heart to Christ.
Oh.
Listen. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hotep. My name is Hotep. You heard it? Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is to the Hotep.
Oh.
I came on so I could tell you what you ain't know yet.
Oh, not the Lamb of God.
Come on now.
Jesus holding the sheep in his hand right by his heart.
Come on now. Oh, forget about that. If you start looking at pictures of Jesus, they got Jesus pointing at it like this is it. They got, literally, churches got whole pictures pointing right at it like, hey, here's the secret. Just in case, I ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna just point right to it. I ain't gonna say it, but I'm just saying. I ain't gonna say it, but it's.
Oh, this nigga's pointing at his heart. Hey, yo, nah, hold up, son. Oh, what the fuck is going on here? Hey, yo, they literally got the heart in the picture.
Bro, listen.
They got this nigga with his heart in the picture. And he, Lord Jesus.
So we don't have a relationship with Christ. We think we have a relationship with Christ, but we don't have a relationship with Christ because we don't know our heart. And if you don't know your heart, you can't have a relationship with Christ.
Nigga, it's the Nepher right there on the picture. They got the Nepher on the picture, y'all.
Listen,
On the white Jesus, on cracker Jesus, he got the Nepher on his chest.
Listen, hey, don't be crackering up my Jesus.
The heart with the cage of horns. What the cage of horns mean?
Why it's got to be a cage of horns?
That's what Tanah said. Tanah said or the heart, because in the picture it's got the heart and it's got the thorns around the heart. Is that the pericardium?
No, pericardium is a sac.
So why they got that? Why they got the horns? What's the horns mean, Tanah?
The thorns. That's that's their Christian. They getting into their Greek. That's the Greek thing.
Oh, maybe that's them trying to cage your heart. Oh, that's what you're trying to say.
Your heart is already caged.
What? Because of the rib cage?
Duh.
Yeah.
It's called a chest.
Oh.
Right? It's a chest, and then
like a treasure chest.
Well, the same thing that Osiris is buried in.
What you mean? What? He buried in a chest?
Listen, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. That's the story. That's the legend of Wusir. Set put him in a chest. They had a big dinner. They put him in a chest. Then they chopped him up to 14 pieces. So when you start off the New Testament goes 14 generations to. Bro, it's too much. It's too much. Just know the Bible is the book of Ani. Just like the book of the dead is the book of Ani.
Yeah.
The Bible is the book of Ani.
Took straight out of there.
Yeah. So here's the problem. We read the Bible in English, right?
Yeah.
Right. So in the Bible, when God identifies himself, God says, I am, right?
Right.
Right. Well, in the original language, I am is Ani. Bro, listen. This is only what I do every single day for a living. That's why, listen, I say most people, they have health conversations.
Oh, Ani means in Hebrew. I am.
Listen. Allow me to reintroduce myself. Listen what I'm trying to say. Look, most people that have God conversations don't have health conversations. Most people that have health conversations, they don't have God conversations. But the problem is, at some point, you have to get interested in the blueprint to the body, or you can't really have a health conversation. That's the reason why we spend more money than any other place, but we have the worst health because we're throwing money at something we don't understand. And we can't understand it because boom. So we go back to the QRST, we go back to the Christ wave, we go back to the electromagnetic signature of the heart, right? The universe comes from the primordial mound. I ain't even gonna do that. It's too late.
The universe comes from the primordial mound.
There's a legend that states that all life comes from the primordial mound. There's a legend that talks about the primordial mound. Now, I tomb some stories, and there are some stories about Ptah. Now, most people have equated that primordial mound to being a pile of dirt. I do not. I believe that the primordial mound that our ancestors were discussing was the electromagnetic wave. And should you pull up the QRST wave and look right at it, you will see that it is listen, it just is what it is.
Hey, yo, hold up. Wait a second.
Wait
a second. It's the QRS wave. That's the pyramids of Giza.
Come on now. Listen. Listen.
Come on.
It's
Come
late.
wait a
It's late.
second,
It's
yo.
late. It's late. It's late.
Yo, hold up, son.
It's late. That's
Wait a second.
what you want me to do? What you want me to do up here,
That's
man?
the 3 pyramids. That's the big
Come on now.
one, the
Come on now.
medium one, and then the
Come on
little
now.
one.
You gotta listen, man. It's work out here, man. It's work out here, bro. It's work out here, man. That's listen, those is the Jews right there. Those are the Jews right there. Hold on. Listen to what I'm telling you. Those are the Jews right there. Let me show you something. See this right here?
What the hell?
Look at this book right here. You see this book right here?
Oh yeah, the Jew, Mountain Jew.
Come on now. Come on now. The original Jews is the people of the mountains, the people of the man-made mountains. That's why the Bible can't separate itself from Kemet. The Bible is it's the book of Enqi. Yeah. Listen, allfacts.com. I could take you through the Bible, walk forwards, backwards through that thing, and show you a whole different Bible. It'd just be amazing. It'd just be amazing. Like, wait a minute, did Enqi put this in here? I'm like, I've had people accuse me of putting things in. Like, now, how did I put Enqi in? How could I do that? Like, what is wrong with y'all? How could I put the burial process? How could I put the burial process in there for Israelites that they only practiced on Pharaoh? Like, how could I do that? Yeah, it's not possible.
Wait a second. Hold up. Enqi.
Yes,
the
sir.
QRS wave.
Come on now.
Also goes below ground.
The longer you look at it, it's going to get.
They recently had 2 discoveries. One of them was these pillars underneath the ground of the Great Pyramid, and another one they talking about is a whole nother city underneath this motherfucker.
Yeah, well, those are less important than the fact that they found a heartbeat in the center of the sun.
Nigga, wait, what?
I told you, it's late. It's a lot. It's a lot of action out here. It's a lot of action out here. See, I'm gonna have to let me move these books and get back into my most people can't even hold a stack of books like this in their house. They hold sneakers and money stacks to their head like this. Stop holding money stacks to your head and hold book stacks. Start holding book stacks to your head.
Scientists observe repeated patterns of radio bursts in the sun likened to a heartbeat during solar flares.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It gets crazy. It gets crazy. It gets crazier. It can get crazier because when you realize that the corona of the sun is not an actual thing, all kind of doors get open.
What you mean it's not an actual thing?
It's not a physical thing.
It's empty space.
It's not empty space. The closest thing that you can call the corona of the sun is the sun's mind. It's the closest thing you can call it. It's a projection of the sun. You got to go, well, what is the sun? Depending on what model you look at, it all comes down to electrons and protons. So we're talking about a big ball of subatomic activity. Okay, so a projection of that is either matter or what's the other thing? Like if it's not matter, then what is it? Scientists are still trying to figure out. See, we get into that space again. Scientists are still trying to figure out. Like, yo, it's listen. I believe in God. I don't even have time to play with y'all folks. I don't even have time to play with y'all folks. I believe in God. Once I get to too many of those, like, oh, well, we know for sure there's this and that. All right, well, hold on. What is this? Can you explain cardiac melanocytes and what they're doing? Well, what's still an ongoing. Okay, so you don't know that. Okay, all right, so you don't know that. All right, well, what about this glymphatic system? How exactly that? Well, it's a newly discovered And that's the second newly discovered. They just newly discovered the neurovascular unit. So you just discovered the neurovascular unit 5 minutes ago, and now you done newly discovered the glymphatic system. Then come to find out, oh, the neurovascular unit works with the glymphatic system. So y'all didn't know what was it? How you what? And the neurovascular unit, I know about that as the divine cow. See, I be studying Kemet. See, in Kemet, they got the divine cow with the gods. That's all under the cow drinking milk. Yeah, that's the brain architecture. That's what they're showing you. It's brain architecture.
What?
The neurovascular unit in the brain. So here's how the circulation goes. Circulation goes heart, aorta, carotid arteries. Then you go circle of Willis, right? Or Ankh, however you want to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we do that already? Circle of Willis. We see the Ankh. We did. Okay.
We
So we go circle of Willis, and then we go to the capillaries and neurovascular system, and then the neurovascular system breastfeeds the neurons in the brain. So that's the energy feeding system. And then the glymphatic system is basically the energy cleaning system. So now you clean it all. But these are both relatively new systems that it's like the mesentery in your stomach. The mesentery, they just discovered that 15 years ago. Largest part of your stomach, or abdomen, I should say, excuse me. Largest part of your midsection, the mesentery. They just discovered this is one organ.
larger than the long the long intestine. What's it called? The because they said the long intestine was the largest.
It's long, but
The small intestine was the longest.
Right, but this is a large network
Okay.
that's regulating everything. And so what I'm saying is, if you just discovered the thing that's in control of everything,
Mm-hmm.
like, bruh, I can't even finish the sentence. If you just discovered the thing that's regulating everything, how is you teaching anatomy before this?
Yeah, you gotta start back all over again. You gotta throw the old books out.
We got to start from scratch.
Yeah.
And we got to start with mesentery. We got to start with fascia. We got to start with the connective tissue, because the connective tissue is not just connective tissue. They got folks believing that the connective tissue is like tape that holds together skin and muscles. Like, that's not what connective tissue do. It doesn't just stick things together. Like, that's not what it does. The connective tissue regulates everything. But we can't see that in the body because we can't see the body as a electronic system. And if we don't see the body as a living system of electricity, of electronics, of capacitors, of silicone chips, like, if we don't see that, then we can't, there's no possible way for us to understand the human body. And there's no possible way for us to be healthy. Period. We don't get it. We had to understand photovoltaism, the sun, largest source of. So, all right, let's do it another way, and then we shut it down. Look, if we understand that energy is intertwined with information,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We get that part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the moment that we realize the sun is the largest source of energy in our solar system, and that's all I'm saying. Did you see what you see? You see, look, and that's all I'm saying, because back in Kemet, once again, them folks over there was talking about God was
The sun.
in the sun. No, not the sun, behind the sun or in the sun. It was the driving force of information and intelligence that acted through the sun. It wasn't the sun. It was the acting force through the sun, the intelligence, the structuring factor.
Inside the sun.
Yeah. Which is the reason why Israel, Yahweh, is
The sun.
Yahweh is a Kemetic God.
Huh?
Yahweh, the God of the Bible. I just told you the Bible is the book of Ani, bro. What you ain't hear? You ain't hear? Listen, it's hard. Listen, I understand, because some of these things, it's like you hear it and then it hit, and then it's like, no, because I told you, the safety mechanism kicks in and then it reprograms you afterwards. You go, no, he didn't. That's not what that's not. Yeah, it's
Well,
not.
how is Yahweh a Kemetic God?
Okay.
Yahweh is Yod Hey Vav Hey in Hebrew.
Stop. Listen, I'm telling you, these folks are going to tell you, listen. We spend the most money on healthcare in America, and we got the sickest people.
How is Yahweh
Hold
a
on, hold on.
Kemetic God?
That's because, listen, we spend the most money on healthcare. We got the sickest people because the things that we think are true are false, and the things that we think are false are true. And that right there comes right from that book. Literally, the devil's job is to make you believe that the wrong thing is the right thing and the right thing is the wrong thing. And that is what's going on here.
So the Bible's the devil.
No. I
Oh.
just told you the Bible is a book
of
Ani. The
Ani.
Bible is a Kemetic text. Okay, look, we're going to stop this right here. I want you to go to your Google, right? I want you to do this on the camera, though. Don't, not in private. Do this so everybody can see.
I got you. We're going to do it. We're going to put it on the screen. I've been having everything on the screen.
Okay, good. Because I can't see what you got on the screen.
Right.
Only thing I can see is me and you. So Google in Yahweh. Let me see. Yahweh and Keper. Let's see what pop up.
Keper.
No, Kheper.
Okay. Yahweh and Keper. All right. The combination Yahweh Keper. Let me put this on the screen.
Yeah, we might have to play with the searches a few times, but
yeah.
Tell me what come up.
Refers to merging of two names. Yahweh, Hebrew name.
No. Okay. Let's just run a dip. Let's go Keper. Yeah, let's go Keper, Royal Seal of Israel.
Keper, Royal. This nigga about to get me canceled. Royal Seal of Israel. Let's go to images and see what we got here. Okay, I see the menorah. I see the menorah.
Do you see Keper as the Royal Seal of Israel?
Who's Keper?
The beetle. All right. Matter of fact, do that. Take Keper off and replace it with beetle.
Okay.
Beetle, Royal Seal of Israel.
Okay. I see the scalp.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And soon as you see that, it's a wrap.
Wait, I did see it in the other search. It's this thing right here. Yeah. It's got wings on it and shit.
Once you see that, it's a wrap.
What you mean it's a wrap?
Why would Keper be the Royal Seal of Israel? It's only one answer. That's everything else is just cognitive dissonance. It's just a lot happening in your mind. It's only one answer. Why would Keper? And if you don't know, the scarab beetle is the symbol of Keper. So that's the same thing. Keper is the beetle.
It says Royal Seal unearthed near Temple Mount. Royal Seal unearthed in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
It's the first time the seal of an Israelite or Judean king has ever come to light in scientific. And it's damn sure a goddamn beetle.
So why would the Egyptian god of resurrection, the Kemetic deity of regeneration, why would he be on the seal of the listen, 2 + 2, I told you, what I said earlier? I said a AMs Razor, and then you came in and said Occam, right?
Mm-hmm. What the hell? So wait, what that got to do with Yahweh?
The Royal Seal of Israel. What do you mean? What does the Royal Seal of Israel have to do with Yahweh? Are you okay? Listen, the cognitive dissonance is, I'm telling you, our brains try to protect us when the information is too crazy. It's like, wait, what is happening? No, this can't be. That's listen, I've shown plenty of people that, and plenty of people have had all like it like start them to, especially Israelite. Oh my God. When I show that to Israelite, they just start and they just start like glitching. Like AI had a glitch this morning. Like they just start glitching. Like they shut down and it shuts their whole system. Like what is that to explain? Just tell me what that's doing there. Because once I go Book of Ani and then I start walking through all of the Kemetic signatures inside the Bible, and then we go to the seal of Israel, the royal seal, and Kepra is on there, like, yo, yo, what's good? Like that, and yo, yeah. What are we talking about? Because the Bible clearly said, Yahweh clearly says, don't put any other gods before me. I'm a jealous hell, and blah, 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 blah. Correct?
Yeah.
So what is Kepra doing on the seal?
Hold on, I'm talking to the Google demons. I gotta make the Google demons.
Yeah, see, look, it's a lot of button press. Listen, forget all them button presses. Listen to what I'm asking you, sir.
Scarab beetle symbol plays a significant role, particularly in connection to the reign of King Hezekiah.
It's only one, listen, okay.
King
Here we go. Here we go. Look. Here's where the cognitive dissonance goes. Once we deal with Kepra as an actual physical person, anthropomorphized God from Kemet, right? And then we deal with Yahweh as an anthropomorphized person or a fat white man in the cloud or whatever the case. Like once we give them that specificity, we lose the objectivity. When we remember that Yahweh represents the intelligence behind the sun, and we remember that Kepra represents the intelligence behind the sun, we don't have a question. This becomes easy peasy, 1, 2, 3 easy. One community teaching another, teacher-student relationship. We get it. Life comes from that thing right there. That big bright thing right there, your life comes from that.
So
the problem is if we have to assume that our ancestors were stupid, that they did not understand that life comes from and is maintained by that big bright thing, then all kinds of other stories take place. But the moment we go, well, let's say that they were smart. Let's say, because they did build the pyramid. So let's just say they knew a thing or two about a thing or two, especially since they have books demonstrating they understood photosynthesis, blah, 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 blah. Once we understand photosynthesis, we understand that light is creating, and that's the natural source of light, which means that's the largest source of information and life in the known universe to anything on this planet. And then when we go, wait a minute, the sun has a heartbeat, we have a heartbeat. What did Einstein said? So there's a quantum entanglement. There's a spooky action at a distance. Okay, so the source of the electricity of my heart is the sun. It's just gonna be, it's just gonna be a lot of wrestling around because the facts ain't gonna change. It's right there. It's right there. Don't worry. Stop. Don't press them buttons no more times. don't press them buttons no more times. It just doesn't belong. Listen, it doesn't belong. The papyrus of Ani, the Bible, the Ani, that's not supposed to be there. The beetle is not supposed to be on the royal seal of Israel. That's not supposed to happen. But the problem is that those things exist.
Says here, the presence of ancient Egyptian scarab seals in ancient Israel indicates cultural exchange and the use of Egyptian iconography in the region.
Yes, that's a band-aid. That's not a real thing. That is a band-aid. Because the Bible says, don't put any other gods before me, or I will starve you to death, blow up your city. Listen, God didn't play no games. So the only way to deal with that is to get to the science. If we deal with the philosophy, if we deal with the feelings, if we deal with the religion, then it's a war. It's a clash. If we deal with the science, right? If we look in the Bible and read it, all of the analogies of God to the sun, like literally Jesus being the light of the world. You know, God is like, it literally specifically says God is light. Like it doesn't even, like it's a lot of analogies, but then it also says God is light. Like it just clearly says that. That's it right in there.
But how are the Christians gonna resolve this, man?
Christians are in trouble. They're going to get some Dr. Enqi books. It's not, listen, everybody, listen, hold on. Let me say this. The Bible, we get into this feel good thing, like we all holding hands, skipping through the grass. Now, the Bible doesn't say what people think it says. The Bible says 144,000 people going to make it. 144,000. How many people's on earth right now? I'm just saying, how many? Is it 7 billion, 9 billion? Like, it's a lot of billions. It's billions of people.
Yeah.
Well, the Bible says 144,000 gonna make it. So what is that basically saying?
Well, maybe that's after AI.
No. See, that what I told you. Safety mechanisms, they kicking in. They getting ready to kick in and start. You're gonna start making it okay. Like it says 144,000. That means that almost everybody's going to get dead. Like 9 billion.
After what? The flood?
After the weighing of the heart ceremony. That's the ratio of how many people will pass. Think about it. Everybody's concerned with material wealth. That's why it says that it's going to be harder for a rich man to get to heaven than a fat man through the needle or camel through whatever it is. But it has nothing to do with the money. It just has something to do with the mind inundated with material, with matter, with mass, and not with the other side, energy, spirit. And that's what came out of the double slit experiment for me. When what I got out of the double slit experiment, when they came with, okay, particles behave like waves and waves behave like particles, I got the duality from Kemet again. I got the duality. I got the binary nature of life, right? There's wave, there's particle, there's male, there's female, there's electric, there's magnetic. Mm-hmm. And so modern day, we concentrate on the particles. We concentrate on the solid. But back in Kemet, they didn't do that. They focused on the wave. They concentrated on the not solid. And that's just how my mind has always been wired. When I was in school, in science class, and we learning about the universe, and the teacher goes, 99% of the known universe is plasma, and 1% makes up matter. And we are a part of that 1%. My hand shot right up. Teacher called on me and I said, so why are you wasting our time studying this 1%, 99%? Why are we studying that? Teacher was like, one more time, I'm sending you downstairs to the principal. You got one more time to outburst in my class like that. So I just took it upon myself, like, okay, I have to study at the house. Clearly, I'm not going to learn anything in school because y'all going to teach. You just told me that y'all have no intention of teaching us. 99% of the universe is that other stuff that you don't even have in the books. Like, no, so that's not even in these texts. So none of that 99% is in these books here. Okay, so we're going to spend 12 years learning about the 1%? I said, what? That don't even make no sense to me. My mind can't even accept things like that. So I got to go outside the box. I learned it young. I just couldn't. That didn't even make no sense to me. I was like, wait a minute. You just said 99% of the known universe is this other stuff, but we're going to study this 1%. I said, like that. Isn't that 99% probably creating or causing this 1%?
Enqi, I've been doing some typing, and it says, coincidentally, both the square of 12 and the 12th Fibonacci number.
That's 144.
as the only non-trivial number in the sequence that is square.
Listen, bro, how long you want to stay on the internet? Because if you start bringing in numbers, do you know that
said
the number 26,
144.
hold on. Do you know that the number 26 is the only number in existence that sits in between a square and a cube? The number 25 and the number 27. The number 26 is the only number.
So 25 is the square. And
27 is the cube.
27 is the cube. Yeah, 3 cubed is 27.
Correct.
And
so that means the number 26. Ho. That means the number 26 bridges two-dimensional reality to three-dimensional reality. Which is the reason why, hold on, which is the reason why the number 26 is the number of God in the Bible. Which coincidentally is the number of iron, the only natural substance that carries magnetic field. Listen, that's why I'm saying, it's been another great Kemedicine episode, family. It's amazing. What we gonna do? Listen, them old folk, them people knew a thing or two about a thing or two. Listen, them people knew a thing or two about a thing or two. That's all. That's all. Listen, that's all it is. They knew a thing or two about a thing or two.
Oh man, that's crazy. That's sure as hell. 5, yeah, that's 5 squared, and that's 3 cubed. That is definitely 5 squared.
Yeah.
Wow. That's 3 cubed. Yeah. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. 5 times 5 is 25.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie. It's just magical when you dig into it, because 26, it just happens to be magnetism. Right? It just happens to be magnetism. And what they say, life is in the blood. Life is in the blood. And what's in your blood? Magnetism. Your circulatory system is a magnetic system. Your heart is a strong magnet. Oxygenated blood is diamagnet. So what does that mean? It repels away from the magnet. So that's how the blood flows out when it's oxygenated. When it leaves, when the oxygen dissipates, the blood becomes paramagnetic. So that means what? It's attracted to the magnet again.
Mm-hmm.
That's what keeps the continuity going. That's what keeps the flow going, not the pump. It's the magnetism. Yeah.
The magnetism makes the pump.
Well, we can go even deeper, right? They're just messing with the numbers, right? The word for blood in the Hebrew is 44.
What?
Yeah, it's the Dam, the DM. DM is how you spell blood in Hebrew. But all of the words have numbers.
Right.
Akhenaten created the Hebrew language.
Who? Hotep the Fourth?
Akhenaten, the one and only. But that's an even longer conversation. I don't want to, But so the blood is 44. The number equivalent is the number 44. And so the way the language is structured, when a number repeats itself in a word, it's because it wants you to remember important things about that word is based with that number. So the science of blood is encoded in the name, in the word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says Dom here means blood of life.
Right, and it's 44, the number. So that's why you
No, 35.
No. Dom is 44, sir.
Dalet is 4. Mem is 30.
40. No, sir.
What do you mean no?
Look it up.
I just did. The Google demon said mem is
Stop
30.
with the Google. The Google demons is driving you crazy. Dom is 44, bro. The chat gonna get you. How about doing it that way? Yeah, type in Dom Blood 44. Type all that into the Google and see what pops up.
44 or 144?
No, just 44. DM Blood and the number 44, and then hit the search bar and see what happens. You might get a better result that way. You know, right now, Google is in the middle of changing over, so Google might be a little discombobulated. Is your Google AI yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's changing over because everybody's is not AI yet.
The number 40 is the gematria value specifically associated with the. Wait, now it's telling me that 40 is associated with the Hebrew letter mem, but before it told me.
I just told you that. I just told you. Listen, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The Google is going through some things. So look, I saw on the internet, it said the Google is turning into AI. I like to test the AIs out.
Right.
So I went on to the Google AI and I asked the Google AI, I said, give me all of the known edible algae. And so it gave me a list of like 20 different ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, so what about Eucoma cottoni, Gracilaria, bladderwrack, this and this?
Mm-hmm.
And it said, it gave me I swear to God, it gave me a list of websites and said, look it up yourself. I said, okay. Google AI got an attitude.
They just now shifting it over because they've been getting their ass beat.
No, it's over. It's a wrap. But you know that number 4, like you got 4 chambers in each blood cell for iron. So each blood cell holds 4 atoms of iron, 4 molecules of oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
You got 4 blood types.
Mm. You got 4 blood types.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
The average person's blood sugar, healthy blood sugar, is 4 grams of blood.
4 grams of sugar per blood molecule?
Yeah. 4 grams of glucose, sure. No, in the blood circulatory system altogether, 4 grams.
4 grams.
That's it.
So you got more than 4 grams, you fucking up.
Yeah, you're in trouble. But it's just about that number 4. It's just about the information just being sitting right there.
So when I take that scoop of sugar, it's definitely over 4 grams. And I put it in my...
Well, it's not that simple.
Oh, okay.
It's about how much of that sugar is being metabolized. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
How much of that sugar we turning into electricity and light versus how much of that sugar is going to be sitting around stagnant.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah, we got to light the torch.
Yeah. You ever had Coca-Cola before?
Absolutely.
I love Coca-Cola. Some good stuff.
I'm from 158th Street in the Bronx.
Have you had it recently?
No.
I like they got the shit from Mexico now. So it doesn't have high fructose corn syrup. It's got authentic cane sugar. Oh, it's amazing.
I'm not sure which one is better for you. Yeah, I'm not sure which one is better. Like that's like, don't be so quick to be like that. Oh yeah, they got the like. That's like back in the. Well, I can't. Let's just say it's like somebody had something that was stepped on, and then somebody gave you the raw joint. Like you got the.
I got that pure white medellin.
Nah, it ain't pure white. You got that beige. You got that brown. That you know what I mean. That you addicted forever. Like the dopamine explosion is phenomenal. Yeah. You'll never forget when you had the first sip of that soda. Like,
I remember it was at this.
Listen, it's people that get thirsty when they hear a can opening. Like,
Facts.
I'm like, do y'all not understand the process? Do y'all not understand the words that are coming out of my? You're not a can is not a fruit. That's not like peeling that's not. You're not supposed to get thirsty when you hear a sound of a metal can process. This is not okay, folks. We are not all right. We are not okay. We have been misled
I
in a
remember
wide
where I was
variety.
at. I was sitting right here at the Mexican restaurant, Washington D.C. We just came from the nigga museum. What do they call that with all the slave shit in there?
Unnecessary roughness. The nigga museum is the supermarket. It's where you got that soda from. That's
No, I got the shit with all the slavery stuff in it. In Washington D.C., the National Museum of Niggas. I don't know what the fuck they call that shit. But we just came from that. Walked down the street, went to the Mexican spot. We love Mexican food. And I seen they had the Coca-Cola. And I was like, yo, let me get one of them. Y'all got
You know
the...
why we love Mexican food? Because Mexicans still have information.
What do you mean?
People who keep their traditions intact, they have information. I was
So,
just talking about the Mexicans the other day. Mexicans have weak livers. Their ancestors figured that out. So they combated the weak livers by flooding all the food with peppers. Because peppers will make your liver brand new again. They don't know that today. They just know that all their traditional recipes is hot and spicy. But the reason being is because, yeah,
oh,
peppers is.
wow.
Yeah, I have a whole little section in that book right there, that Codex of Living. Yeah, just Enqi Dink. It's just like a little section in there on peppers.
And the avocado, too.
Well, avocado is good for other reasons, but yeah.
Avocado good for your brain.
Well, avocado is good. Yo, I ain't gonna say the guy's name, but oh my God, me and him had some epic battles on the internet because he just used to say the dumbest things. He made a post on Facebook one time and said, avocado is unhealthy. Stop following Dr. Sebi. I don't want anybody to eat avocados. Avocado fat is not ionic. I said, oh my God.
It wasn't yacht. No, it wasn't him. No, he wouldn't say
No,
that.
I ain't gonna say his name.
I love some good avocado, some good guacamole.
I love avocado.
Guacamole is my shit.
Yeah, I love avocado. And it's not supposed to be ionic. It's not supposed to be electric. See, this is the understanding that we're missing. It's supposed to be fat because your body is electronic. They're like, wait, Enqi, that does not make sense because you don't know how fat works and you don't know how electronics works. Look down. Look in your house. Look around. Don't you got plugs somewhere? You got plug. Anybody that's watching this video, you got plugs in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The plug is not the actual metal. You have an insulator coating the plug. Hello.
Fat is the insulation for the electronic circuit.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. Listen. This is why people have multiple sclerosis, because they start to lose the insulation on their nerves, so the nerves can't conduct the signal where it's supposed to go. So they might be thinking, I want to lift my arm up, and then their neck might move or their leg might move because the signal jumped off of that nerve and went to somewhere else. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's why the brain is mostly fat, because the fat has to coat the nerves so that the signals go where they're supposed to go.
He said, Tanai said, myelin sheath is insulation.
That is a fact.
Nah said, I got 3 avocado trees in my yard. He in Jamaica.
Come on now. That's grand opening, grand close.
Damn. Lord have mercy. I don't know how I'm gonna sleep tonight.
Good. You done had that cup right there, and you done worked 12 hours. You done worked 12 hours straight, so you're gonna sleep good knowing you left it on the floor.
Shout out to Raw's Law, Willie Will. Appreciate you. What was the name of the book again? I'm gonna drop it in the chat. Let me drop the link in the chat. Hold on.
Let me see if I could drop the link because you can't even find it. How you can't even find it? Let me see. Is
Yeah,
there
it's
a
right there.
chat
It's
bubble?
pinned.
Oh, you got it up there?
Yeah. No, this ain't it. This is the other new book. Hold on, let me bring it up.
Yeah, here you go. Look, I'm gonna send it to you in the chat. Now in the Zoom chat.
All right.
Wait, did it work? Thought I sent it to. Oh yeah, it's right there on the Zoom chat. You see it?
Codex of Living, right?
Codex of Living Current.
Yeah.
It should have the QRST wave on it.
Let me see. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, got that work right there on there. It's a very interesting book. It's not your average. It's not your average book. It's a book written about the book.
Mm.
That book is written about itself.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that book is written about itself.
What does that even mean? How's the book written about itself?
We have books. We have one book like that. It just so happens to be the most popular book of all time. The Bible is a book written about the Bible.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. Chat, y'all got more than y'all feel tonight. Y'all got more than you feel tonight. Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Y'all know where y'all want to be if y'all want that big brain content.
Kicks. Yeah, I gotta come because we every weekend and we not over here every. This is. I just wanted to come over because
YouTube, you got to come to Kick, kick.com/Griff Report. You better come to Kick because we not streaming this to YouTube no more. So if y'all want this shit, you better download the Kick app, niggas.
All right, God.
All right, see you next week.
Hey, listen. Let me know if anybody, email you or hit you in the chat. Like, yeah, I got an explanation for why Kepler is on the Israel Royal Seal.
Oh, yeah, we definitely going to let you know. I hope somebody do.
Somebody got no explanation. I'm out of here, God.
Yeah.
2, 1, boom. Hotep Jesus.
Of all the Jesuses I know, he's the Hotepiest. Social scientist and YouTube host, Hotep Jesus.
How the fuck do you get a name like Hotep Jesus?
The one and only Hotep Jesus.
Ryan Sharp, better known to the world as Hotep Jesus.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com. Somebody said, what do you think you are? Some kind of Hotep Jesus?
Ooh,
and
that's
I was
good.
Just like, ooh, that's sexy. Yes, I do think I'm Hotep Jesus.